Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to another Blether. We have three hosts tonight. Well, she's just like transfixed by the lights upstairs, up there. She's like, For people who haven't met her yet, this is Bria Rose, baby
Hello.
number two, 5 months next week, and it's her bedtime. So I'm just giving her a wee cuddle before bed. In the house this week, I was telling Kat and Fraser before going live, the garage is absolutely Baltic. So instead of bottles behind me, I've got a very rarely used dartboard.
And I mean, yeah, that's quite exciting having a dartboard in your kitchen. That's a bit of rock and roll, isn't it?
It used to be when I could play darts, but it's just like
Yeah.
a weird dust collector now.
I still don't think I fully understand darts. Like, I understand the concept of throwing the pointy things at the wall. I just am not sure I understand the scores or
It's just maths.
point.
You just count down, and as long as you finish on a double, then you win. So the
Cool.
doubles are the bits on the outside, around the outside of the score and board.
So the game only stops if you hit one of those.
Yeah, the right one. You need to hit the right one.
How do you know what the right one is, though?
Because
Like
you'll count down to like 40, which is double 20. You hit the outside ring of the 20, then you win.
we count down from what, like 100?
If 501.
Oh, that's a lot.
Math's not your strong point, Kat.
No. Yeah. Maybe I'll have to go and play darts sometime. Maybe I'm just really good at it and I've just never
Never
actually
knew. Yeah.
never knew.
Well, when I first met Tony, we started dating, and I took her to the pub, and we were just having a game of darts. She'd never really thrown before, and she finished a match like one double after the other, so she went double double. And from then, she just started playing with put her in my mum's darts team, and off she went. And she's now probably one of the best players in the league. So
Oh,
there you
that's
go.
awesome.
Could be you.
Could be. Never know. I'll take Tony on in a dart match.
A dartathon.
A dartathon, yeah. I mean, girls night out. You have the baby.
Where's mum going? So we've got Callum has said she has lots of hair. Who does she take after? Of course, she takes after me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just because she's 5 months and not 5 decades. That's all it is.
She's got your colour hair, though. Is it another red?
It's not quite as bright as Killian's. She's got a bit more of a lighter kind of shade. But yeah, it is a full head. It came out like that, isn't it?
That's the best way, though, because like bald babies are so ugly. Like, I found the whole idea of pregnancy like really creepy anyway. Like, there's this like little thing growing inside you, and then I was like freaking out because I was like, I don't want a bald baby, because you know how I feel about bald, or how I used to feel about bald people. Evening, Mr. McKendrick, for watching. But like the whole idea of like a bald baby, like this big kind of like bulbous, baldy, light bulby head that they just flop around, used to freak me out. Like thinking about it used to make me feel a bit sick. So I was so glad when I popped out little hairy babies. Only on their head, like they weren't like puppies.
Little gorillas coming out.
Because I couldn't have dealt with an ugly bald baby. I'm like, nah, could you just put that back?
Do you
I
think,
am a
do
very
parents of ugly babies know that their baby's ugly? Do they see an ugly baby, or do they think it's cute anyway?
I mean, like I think like parents are programmed to not realize their own babies are ugly. Okay, I think that's just like nature, but like everybody else is kind of like, ooh. Like midwives must sometimes look at a baby and go, Christ, did you see what came out of her? But I'm sure like they're very professional and love all the baby.
Yeah, they don't say that.
Jesus Christ, what just came out of you? My midwife said something very inappropriate when I gave birth to my first one. Bear in mind where she was while she said this. She was like, well, thank Christ you're not fat, because nobody wants to have their head down this end if you're got big old thighs around your ears. I was like, this is not appropriate. I wonder if she's still working. Anyway,
Anyway, somebody who's not bald, definitely, and definitely doesn't have that to worry about, is our guest tonight, Fraser. We're going to bring him back on. Before I do that, I'm going to hand this one back over to Mum. And
bye.
Waiting. Night, baby. Right, let's get our guest in tonight because nobody is here to watch me hold a baby, as pretty as she is.
Hello.
Hello, Fraser. Hi. Sorry you had to sit through all that and in the background.
I was pissing myself already when we've not even started. Listening to Kat. I'm surprised, Kat, you've never played darts. That's a shocker to me.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about sports, other than rugby, and I've never actually played that. But no, I don't know a lot about many sports. Maybe I just probably need to try. I haven't got a very good aim, or like haven't got a very strong arm either. So I really don't think I'd get the dart in the wall. I know, I'll give it a go.
You're not meant to get it in the wall. That's key.
In the board. In the board.
Usually the best thing to do is, if you're just starting for the first time, aim for the wall and you'll probably get it in the board.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm quite good at shooting, so maybe I'd be all right at darting, at playing darts. I just made my own, adjective there.
Darting works.
Anyway, bye. Welcome back to the Blether. Are you still our reigning champion for longest guest on the Blether? I can't remember.
Well,
if you got beaten.
I would love to say I've watched every single Blether episode and kept track of all the timings, but you guys probably know better than I do. But I was just trying to remember, was it some like almost 3 hours last time?
It must have been something like that. Was
45, I think.
Am I the first returning guest? Is that?
No, we get Andrew Smith from Little Brown Dog back on every time I can't get somebody booked on.
I thought you were going to make me feel a little special there, feeling like I was the first returning client.
First returning client with intention. Andrew's just a space filler. Like every time I can't find a guest.
But it was about 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Brutal. February 24. It was actually this week. It was the 8th of February 2024. You were with us. It was just after Whisky Talks.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So 2 years ago. Do you know? I was reading an article the other day saying that in the last 5 years, we've stopped being able to make memories the same as pre-lockdown. So all the years. That's why all the years kind of blur together now, because we're sort of losing that ability to put a year into, like, you know, how you used to think of a year like 2007. Oh yeah, I remember what I did that year. And like now we can't do that. So 2 years ago, I'm like, I can't even remember what happened that year.
Yeah,
it was mad though, wasn't it? Like that couple of years after lockdown, everyone was so busy because the drinking habits had completely changed and everyone was trying to get back to normal and stuff. It was. I think Alan's put a comment in the group there. Is whiskey not a sport, Kat?
more of a hobby, I think, but yeah, it depends what we're doing with it, I suppose. I also like his comment, Kat, just pretend the board is an X. I really like that idea. I'm gonna maybe employ that one.
But we're joking saying that Mike, the last time I was on, you were just about to have a baby and now you've just had a baby. So it's like the tradition that whenever I come on, you get your wife knocked up.
Yeah.
It's just the excitement of having you on screen.
Pure testosterone that you ooze out. You're a natural aphrodisiac, Fraser.
Yeah. Just to mention my name, yeah, sure. But no, it's good. It's good to see you guys. I mean, Mike, I saw you just before Christmas. I popped in past the bar for the first time, so congrats on that. And the new shop.
Thank you very much. It's been going well. Yeah. The shops. I mean, it's hard to tell in the shop just now. It's quite quiet with Christmas finished and just the start of the year blues, I guess. But we're starting to pick up. We're starting to see some traction now. January pays in and the weather it's getting better, is it? Maybe it's still bloody cold and wet.
It literally started hailstoning. It started hailstoning as soon as I logged in. I was like, fuck's sake.
Awesome. Yeah.
absolutely miserable. I think it's rained for about 3 weeks solid, because it started raining like when the snow stopped, it just started raining. And I don't think it's actually stopped since then.
I saw blue sky on Sunday for the first time in about 8 weeks, I think.
Oh my gosh, we're all going to be like jaundiced with rickets and depression.
You mean you're not already?
Oh, yeah. I know.
It's been wild. It's been like that snow was, I mean, just obviously for context of anyone that's listening, we've had, well, actually officially on the news, the worst winter in Aberdeenshire, the Northeast, for 10 years. But that snow was probably the worst I can remember in Scotland, probably since 2010, when I think it got down to -20.
Yeah, no, I think it is though. Where was I in 2010? Can't remember.
What island were you living on?
I have to work it out by which child I'd given birth to, and then remember what house I was in.
Which was
16 years ago.
So I've had a couple of bad years of snow. One was 2012 in Dumfries and Galloway, and then one was up in Sutherland. It must have been like 2007, and it got Altnahara got down to the lowest temperature in the UK, and it was like minus, like, I don't know, it was like minus, it was ridiculous. It was like minus 25 or 28 or something, because the TV crews were up filming there. But like, it was just a lot of snow in one go. It was an insane amount of snow. My little white Ford car just disappeared. I was like, somewhere out there is a white Ford car. Insane.
Yeah, it was mental. I mean, I remember my snow shovel broke, I think, after the first week, and then B&Q, I'd run out of snow shovels. So it's like, all right, I'm just going to leave the car on the main street about, 3 streets away. It's not like you can get anywhere anyway. So yeah, it was wild. But do you know the best thing was, actually, because I moved into this new place last May, and during the snow was the first time I met all my neighbors, because we're all chatting as we're shoveling the driveways.
Yeah, I know. It was quite nice though, because people were like putting out like Facebook posts saying, like, I'm snowed in, I'm not going to work, like I've got time if there's like elderly people need a hand shielding out their driveways. So it was quite nice to see people come together and do that.
Yeah. Food Bar News were busy.
I know. Food Bar, I know. It was like red hot.
Those guys, I mean, I don't know if that's just a community page, but they were doing such a good job of just like relaying, right, this street's closed, this car's stuck here, these guys need to push up the hill, this bus is stuck. It was just like, and then there was a photo of a guy, like, saying about the snow shovels. A guy posted up a photo. He'd basically made his own snow shovels out of 2 bits of wood, and just said, if you need a shovel, this is the best bet.
Yeah. I know shops are running out. They're selling out of shovels and sledges and everything. You can get anything that was handy.
But this is us getting paid back for that 6-month summer we had last year.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it means we'll get a summer this year.
I know. It's such a Scottish thing to be like trying to trading off the weather. Well, it's been bad, but we'll get a good summer. It's like we've got to convince ourselves just to keep limping on.
I remember actually last summer,
shoveling snow, chanting it was and just going, hi. That's called the Gaelic gasp. I didn't even know it had a name.
I didn't know it had a name. That's funny.
Gaelic gasp. We'll have to remember that. I was speaking to a farmer funnily enough in the shop last year, and it was just at the end of the summer. And I said something along that lines. I was, we've had a pretty good summer. And his first words out of his mouth, this is a proper farmer. He goes, aye, but we'll pay for it in the winter.
We'll pay for it. We'll pay for it.
and Christ, he was right.
Oh, I know. It's very Aberdeenshire, isn't it? But we love it.
We do like to talk about the weather up here, don't we? It's a very British thing, isn't it? It's not an Aberdeenshire thing.
Yeah. True.
Something we all have in common.
Well, now that we've got the weather out the way, we've got 2 years worth of what's Fraser done since then. I've just checked out your website. Oof, that's a fancy website. Check you.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Also, me and Mike feature on it. I was like, that's me. Picture.
You do, yeah. You do. I think that was a photo from, I think that was the second Aberdeen Whisky Talks.
It was, because Sophia's there as well in her awesome jumpsuit. Little sexy minx that she is. So that was the second one. But
yeah, that would have been this is honestly where the years are blurring together. It would be the end of 2024. Yeah, end of 24.
They were at the end of the year, right? Yeah.
November. Yeah, it was November. God, 2 years has passed. What has happened? I mean, yeah, so we did like a lot of whiskey talks around Scotland. We did 5 events in total, 2 in Aberdeen, Edinburgh, Inverness, Glasgow. And yeah, they were all all very, very successful. But I kind of went self-employed properly, went sort of 2 feet in last May, June time. So yeah, it's just kind of been a bit of a wild ride. And I think, so I think when I moved back to Scotland, which is 4 years ago, that post Whisky Ambassador kind of, right, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the plan was always to kind of try and keep doing that, that thing where you're hosting people, talking about whiskey, but also like working with different people, businesses, brands, and effectively just trying to figure out what that sort of picture looks like. And I'm still trying to figure it out. But yeah, it's been a busy year.
It looks it. Really impressive website, and a lot of what's strings? What's the word? What's the expression?
Strings to the bow.
Strings to the bow. Yeah, like I was reading the website. I mean, you do everything from tasting experiences, brand advocacy, education, consultancy, event hosting, drink menu development, and mentorship. That's a lot. However, I'd imagine over your 25 years in the industry, you've pretty much just been doing most of that, whether it was with one brand or another. But
yeah, but there was always little segues into other things over a long period of time, because obviously the first 15, 16, 17 years was all working in hospitality, but in that I think that you're always kind of flexing your creative outlets and things like that. So for a big one for me is, as you mentioned, the website is design. So I sort of self-taught myself graphic design when I lived in Spain for 3 years. It was partly because, I mean, I think we maybe talked about this on the Blether last time, but obviously when I was in Australia, I launched a platform called the Global Bartender Exchange with my friend Hannah, which we spent, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and eventually a lot of money on a website / app. And the guy we were doing it with, he was like a programmer, but he didn't know a lot about design. So I kind of took on that role, I suppose. Because as a kid, I was always drawing. Like that was always my thing. I was art and, sitting doodling on a bit of paper with a pencil or, whatever. So I've always had that in me, that sort of, arty, crafty kind of vibe. So when I moved to Spain, I had loads of time in my hands. I was only working maybe 3 or 4 days a week because my rent was only about 150 euros a month when I lived in Spain. God, I wish it was that now. But it gave me time to kind of sit down and actually start doing more design stuff, because I thought this will come in handy at some stage later on. And obviously having launched a lot of projects and stuff since then, I've pretty much designed everything for those. So obviously including my own website and then Whiskey Bites, Whiskey Talks, all that stuff as well.
That's amazing. I did not know that. Oh, well, you've obviously got an eye for it. It's very, very good. You need to design our logo for us. No offense, Mike. But
no, but I love honestly, like I was sitting watching the intro and I was thinking, this is like, honestly, it's like you guys have really upscaled the intro. It's like an intro to like the Scottish version of Dawson's Creek or something like that, And it's kind of like, it's got like a dramatic kind of like, introducing like the cast as well. It's done very well.
Oh, that's really cool. We just need to fade out. Like it just comes to a sudden stop and we're both like, oh, well, we just need to get like a sort of fade or something, or like I don't know, like a sort of Phil Collins drum beat at the end. And then we come on stage, like on screen, but it's a work in progress. Well, it's Mike's work in progress. I don't know how to fix that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool. I like it a lot. It's you guys. I mean, like how many episodes have you guys done now?
Oh,
good question.
Well, I'll need to go back and have a look and find out.
I know.
We can easily count them back on YouTube, but we were doing it before YouTube. We were doing it on just on Facebook. Before we had StreamYard, we did a couple of Facebook Live events. So yeah, I don't know. It's been pre-Cat. We had 2 years with Russell.
Yeah.
So,
there's 2 eaters. There's BR before Russell and AR after Russell. So
You need to put that on the logo.
yeah.
AR, like ACDC.
Yeah. I know. I need to catch up with our social media so that I can actually see how many people we've had on, because we've had some awesome guests on. I mean, everybody's awesome in their own right, but yeah, we've had quite a variety.
Some really good. Like I saw you had Stephanie McLeod on, and you've had Dave Broom, and you've had loads of like big swingers.
Top names.
Yes, I was trying so hard not to fangirl over Stephanie, but I think I was just like, "Oh my god, I love you."
She is great. She's, yeah, I miss working with her a lot. Actually, I actually gave her a shout out on LinkedIn recently. I was kind of looking through some old photos and stuff, and she gave me a really nice write up from my website too. So I gave her a little shout out. Yeah, she's awesome, and like obviously the whiskey speaks for itself, but the fact that she's won Master Blender of the Year 6 years in a row, it's just
it's insane, and like just so approachable, always wanting to sort of hand back. Like, you know, when I messaged her, like I dropped into her DMs thinking she's never going to reply. She replied straight away, and she was like, "Yeah, let's make this happen." And I know she's been a mentor for the Our Whiskey Foundation as well. Like, she's always just wanting to kind of like give back and encourage like the next generation, which I think is awesome.
She made me a really good leaving present as well, which I might have happened to have left on the table here just in case it came up. But this was my leaving present when I left Dewars. I got the first ever Dewars double, which was a 21-year-old, and it was finished in Mizunara casks. And I was so blown away when they gave me that as well. And this is probably from like 4 years ago now, 5 years ago now. I've still not finished it because it's one of those things where you're like, you know, it's a guilty bottle kill. And I didn't open it for ages. And Stephanie said, no, it's for drinking. You need to open it. And so, yeah, I have done. But it's, she's absolutely incredible what she does. She's just very talented, but so charming as well. Whenever she's doing talks and stuff, she's so eloquent in how she just communicates whiskey too, but so down to earth too.
Yeah, I mean, you holding another bottle of whiskey has just made me think that we have not actually asked what's in anybody's glass and what's in Mike's glass, and potentially what's in my glass if I go and get something, because I've forgotten to do that. So I'm going to just go off screen quickly and let you tell everybody what's in your glass.
Well, I kicked off with I'm sort of bottle killing the new Glen Scotia 12.
Nice. I've yet to try it. I've heard good stuff about it.
Well, I mean, I got this bottle probably just before Christmas, or maybe just after Christmas. Gary Mills very kindly sent me a couple of bottles. I've also got the I'm going to have this afterwards as well, but I got the Campbelltown Malts Festival from last year too. Yes. But yeah, the 12 is absolutely sensational. It's super tropical. I'm just saying, Kat, I've got the Glen Scotia 12 in my glass to kick off.
Ooh, yum. I love Glen Scotia. So nice.
So I think that's fast becoming one of my favorite distilleries, because I've always loved the Victoriana and the double cask rum finish as well. But the two new ones, or the one from last year, the Campbelltown Malts in Ribera del Duero, and then the new 12. It's just so Moorish, super tropical. It's like white chocolate, passion fruit, just nice little IPA to go with it too. What are you drinking, Mike?
I'm on. I get like you. I'll be bottle killing probably. Duke of Doug from Little Brown Dog Guys, 9-year-old blend, the Session Dram. I'm not sure. I think they've played on this as well themselves. Cask Strength Session Dram. I'm not sure how they got that past the market. But I mean, it's a natural cask strength of 45.2%. So it's it's not as though it's a strong.
That's probably how they got away with it then.
Yeah, it's just so drinkable, so easy. And one I always have in the house rather than out in the garage. So my whiskies are a little bit more limited, but no less good. And then I'll be moving on.
The Green Spot, nice. I've actually got an Irish whiskey with me as well. I brought about half my cupboard to the table. I've got a theme tonight. Well, after the Glen Scotia, there's a mix of red wine casks, but also a bit of peat as well, because it's obviously still Baltic. Yeah. So both go pretty well. But I've also got
my full 12 just to Good old school.
Old trusty. This one, I'm really trying not to drink too fast. This is a Teeling Margot cask. So this was one of my favorite drams in lockdown, and it was obviously a limited edition, part of their sommelier selection. And I probably must have ordered 3 or 4 bottles in lockdown, and then it got discontinued. And I was absolutely raging, and I honestly spent about 4 years trying to find another bottle. It was that good. I was like looking on auction sites. I was speaking to Rob Caldwell, who's the global BA. I was like, can you try and see if you can find me a bottle? And then I found one on a random Dutch website somewhere. I don't even know how, maybe like a year ago. So that's been very slowly getting drained. But phenomenal. Yeah, but I think with Irish whiskies, they just pick up casks so much more intensely than Scottish whiskey.
Yeah, it's just that. I think it's that softer style of the spirit, isn't it? It just kind of gathers all that flavour. And I guess from their side, the maturation side, they have to be careful not to over egg it in a cask. Where Scotch is probably a little bit more robust, a little bit more flexible that way.
Totally.
What did you grab, Kat?
I have just spilled quite a lot of whiskey on my table.
One for the homies.
Luckily, I was folding laundry before we went live, so the towels ran in my kids' pants, and the towels ran on the table. So I've just been soaking up teach. I've spilled so much whiskey on my table, it absolutely stink. Paul, I'm really sorry. That bottle of teacher you brought me back, I've just spilled all over the table. So I was
just don't tell anyone you've got teachers in your kids' pants, all right? Just
yeah, I am not going down that rabbit hole at all with that brand. Anyway,
that is definitely after the watershed remarks that.
Now half a bottle of teachers, yeah, and a lot of wet pants. You know what? Teachers, make your pants wet. The line didn't go down.
Oh God. Anyway, guys, it's been really good fun. So
I think we're all getting cancelled after that one. Yeah,
Kat's just been cancelled and probably lost her job. No, I was getting a bottle of teachers because I was doing I was filming for the last 2 days the last couple of days over at Ardmore for teachers for a Japanese TV show. So I thought, this would be a really great opportunity to get my bottle of teachers out. And I've just fucking spilled it all over the table. And then but I was at Auchentoshan yesterday and I picked up a bottle at Auchentoshan. I picked up the only bottle that I can get on staff price that I can't get at Glengarry staff price. Jury's still out on it. I tried it there. It's the Sauvignon Blanc one that you're meant to put in the fridge. I'm going to try it again because, the jury's still out. I love Auchentoshan. And I only tried a little bit because I was driving, so I'll give it a go and see what I think of it.
I mean, right at this point in time, you don't even have to put in your fridge. You can just open your window for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No, exactly. I might just put it on the table and just make a wee blend on the table and just start licking the table.
You're going to do that. Make sure we're still on live. That's one way to get viewers interested.
Well, saying the last time we finished up talking about aliens, this time it's going to be Kat licking whiskey off a table, just edging up the weirdness.
You know, if I could make money off of that, I would.
I know there's an OnlyFans page desperate for that footage. As long as you don't just start sucking your kids' pants on that.
Cat licking a teacher off the table.
I mean, do you know what? I'll do anything for a $5. No, I won't. Anyway, moving on.
£2.50 each. Oh dear.
Yeah. So that's what I've got. I'm very on brand tonight, but only because it's been a weird week with Japanese film crews, and then we did a little road trip down to Auchentoshan and Springburn, which is our head office. So it's good fun. Nice to go and see the guys down at Auchentoshan. It's such a cute little distillery. I love it.
Yeah, I've not been down there in absolute ages. I've been actually thinking a lot about like the lowlands and regionality. I was actually recording an episode of Whisky Bites today about regionality. And did you know that in the last 20 years, so there's 23 lowland distilleries, 20 of those have opened since 2010.
Really? That's insane.
Yeah, because before that, it was
the three. Yeah. I didn't realize it was only three. I'd take that as malts because it would be the grain guys down there as well.
Yeah, like North British stuff. Yeah.
How old's Ailsa Bay then? Is it less than 20 years?
Yeah, it would be.
I thought it was a bit longer.
Maybe the 2010s.
Yeah. God, that's interesting. I knew it was the fastest growing, but probably purely because there's a lot of space to grow there because there was so few on the go 20 years ago. So it was the only region it could really grow from.
Yeah, but I think like places like Edinburgh have had a real, I think, hand in that as well. If you look at, Holyrood and Portleith and the Johnny Walker experience, I think the Lowlands has had a bit of a resurgence in that regard too. Mm-hmm. Maybe from a tourism perspective too. But ultimately, I think, well, in the olden days back in the 1800s, it was very much just to do with that industrialization, mass scale production. Then lighter styles ensued. But I think that, look at what the guys at Woven, like Pete and Duncan, that have done, and Nick, and I think there's way more diversity coming now. From that neck of the woods for sure. So, and a lot of that's come from Edinburgh.
Yeah. And do you think that's is that because that's where the head at what is that people are kind of basing themselves there, getting a diploma, kind of coming out with ideas and meeting people like-minded and thinking, well, we're here, let's base like Woven and whatnot. Is that what's drawn to Edinburgh, or is it just?
I think Leith always had that whiskey history. It's always been a shipping port. It always had a lot of casks going in and out. Had a lot of wine casks like sherry and port going into it as well. There's a lot of history of brands like Krabby's is from Leith. The ginger wine. And then I think that if you go down to Leith and walk around, there's so many kind of little. It's almost like the Brooklyn of Edinburgh. There's like lots of little warehouses that you can get to turn into offices and then blending studios. So many of the guys I know from Edinburgh who've got businesses down there have kind of started off down in Leith and pretty much stayed there in a lot of ways as well. So there's a lot of that too. There's that community side of if you've got like an indie bottler or starting something like that, Leith's a good place to kick off.
Plus, it was cheaper than Edinburgh for a good while. I think it's definitely it's changed now, but for a while you were kind of getting more for your money in that sort of direction. It's such a cool little place, though. It's so eclectic and I love Leith.
We need something like that in Aberdeen. We really need to do have like an Aberdeen kind of renaissance when it comes to whiskey, and I think that there's a lot talks about like the distillery down in Torry and stuff like that, but we definitely need something more central to happen. It's actually funny. I was doing a walk-in tour of Aberdeen's whiskey history for the guys from Whiskey Week. Must have been back in October, something like that. They're going around like all the old sites, like the old Bonaccord site, and then down to Devana. And there's nothing really to see. There's a bit of the old brewery at Devana. You can kind of see in one of the old walls of the car park. There's some of the old brickwork and stuff like that as well. But I think that we definitely need something more central. What that looks like, I don't know. But we need something like the Johnny Walker experience in the high street.
Yeah. I know Adam at the House Botanicals has been championing some kind of drink museum or visitor centre or something, try to get people on board. He was looking at the old Bank of Scotland building and then the old Marquis building, try to get something. So, there are people of a similar mind frame. So,
I don't know. I think that the challenge with doing something like a drinks museum is like it's very niche. I think whiskey's got a broader appeal. So I think it's hard to kind of say we're going to do like a cocktail museum because it's almost like very trade focused. Whereas if you did something broader like whiskey, which is obviously why people come to Scotland to go and see distilleries, you've got more of a connection or a link to.
Yeah.
Well, especially with the port opening up for the cruise ships. I think it was like 75 cruise ships, scheduled for this year. I mean, it'd be absolutely perfect to have and Aberdeen's like the oldest port in Europe. Like the history of like whiskey and casks and sherry and wine coming in and out of that like harbour must be, go back hundreds and hundreds of years.
Oh yeah.
It'd be awesome.
A lot of smuggling as well. Like there was a lot of smuggling along the coastline, along like places like Dunnottar Castle and stuff like that. Path that goes along the cliffs to Stonehaven would have been heavily used back in the day as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the most famous excise men was from up here as well. Like I can't remember his name. I was reading about it the other day, but he was like notoriously getting in fights and stuff, and like got shot like several times. And I'm sure it was up here. Why was I reading about that?
It was the guy that went to the Cabrach. He was from Elgin, wasn't he?
Yeah, that could be what I'm thinking.
I've totally forgotten his name, but yeah, there's a famous story of the guys. They charged the Cabrach to catch some illicit distillers, and he was on a horse. The horse got shot. He fell off. I can't remember the guy's name. I used to tell this story every week when I was up in Speyside every week, but it's been about a year and a half, and I forget these things very quickly. But he was, and then obviously it could have been Rabbie Burns as well.
Yeah, it could have been. I know that's like I think I kind of reuse the same facts every single year for Burns Night. Interesting fact about Rabbie Burns. Yeah, he was nice man. But yeah, I mean, his
dad was called Willie Burns as well. True story.
Probably didn't mean the same thing that we associate it with nowadays.
Nope.
I think it's
just dad teachers.
Can we stop referencing my brand, please? It'd be cool to get something like that in Aberdeen. That would be awesome. But do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if there's not an investor somewhere with something like that planned, to be honest. Like with the regeneration of Aberdeen. And they've got Spectra on just now as well. Actually, we're off to see Spectra tomorrow night, the cool light show in Aberdeen.
Oh, yeah. It's actually funny because, like, obviously, with my kind of consultancy side of the business, I actually got approached about, about something. It was weird. Like, I got approached about a sizable whiskey project, and then it all kind of fell through, or at least the second meeting never really happened. So I think there's always kind of opportunities and interest of something happening in and around Aberdeenshire that could really sort of create like a base for, like a whiskey visitor centre or something like that. Because obviously, you've got you guys doing great stuff up at Glengarry, and obviously Mike's shopping in Inverurie as well. But I just kind of feel like in the immediate vicinity of Aberdeen, the closest place you've got after here, you've got Arbeki and Ferrokeirin down the road, and then you've got Lochnagar, which is about an hour and a half away. Yeah. So it'd just be good to have one extra thing.
Yeah. And I do think that a lot of people who come in on the cruises are jumping on a bus and heading out, to Speyside. Probably it's only an hour away from Aberdeen,
or Deeside, to Blether, to Balmoral,
the castle, the Royal Deeside, or the Whisky. So and I think the way they kind of head out doesn't take you past any Aberdeenshire distilleries. That's on the United States. Straight up.
We've picked up a lot of them. Like the cruise ships would be pretty good for us, but the problem is you can only really fit in two things. So they want to do like a castle and a distillery, but they've got such a tight turnaround. They've got to get back on ship, pretty quickly. So as soon as you head out, Deeside, go and see Balmoral or whatever, like you've eaten up a lot of your time, and it's a pretty quick turnaround and back on the boat. But we're quite well placed for them just because we're so close to Aberdeen. So it's been quite good for us, to be honest. Yeah. But how you make that translate out further to the wider Aberdeenshire, I don't know. And that is just because of the turnovers. Like this, I don't really think there's much you can do about that, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I've just launched a new collab called One for the Roads, which is kind of really on topic about taking people out into distilleries locally, but also, all over Scotland as well. So this is with a guy called Macaulay Middleton, he's had his own show for a company in Aberdeen for the past 3 years. He's actually third generation. It was like his uncle and then I think his granddad as well. So we just launched this a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, the idea is we pick up people in Aberdeen or Edinburgh, wherever, and then take them around some of Scotland's best whiskey experiences. So we did a day's filming down at Arbiki for all the promo stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great, because I think Arbiki is one of these places where you get the full package. You walk into the distillery, they've got a bar, they've got a restaurant, they've got the shop, they've got the tours, they've also got accommodation pods as well. So that ticks a lot of boxes too.
Yeah. And that beautiful beach as well. London, is it London Bay?
Yeah. Yeah, stunning.
There, yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. So we keep glancing over all these new things you're doing. So let's go back to Whiskey Bites first, because last time I saw you was in a hotel in Stonehaven. You were walking your dog, and I was at a whiskey tasting.
Oh yeah, that was before Christmas, I think. Was yeah, no, it would have been November, I think. So that's when I saw you just before it went live.
Yes, that's right.
So that would have been November, right?
I think it was. Mr. McKendrick can help us out because it was his whiskey tasting, but I think it was November. But you were just so that's what the conversation was. You were just about to launch this. So yeah, I've seen a few of them. My algorithm still hasn't quite picked you up yet. I think you have to interact with some of these posts enough times that you see them more.
No, it's because the videos are too long for. So this is the thing, is because the idea behind Whiskey Bites was doing short video clips just to kind of literally the tagline is snackable whiskey knowledge. So it's an idea I had, obviously spent a ton of time driving around Scotland in between gigs, whether it's going to a tasting or even hosting people and stuff. And I kind of hate wasting time, when you're driving so much and you obviously listen to a lot of podcasts, or music or whatever, but I was I could be using this time to study more, learn, or have different stories. If I'm going to a tasting, I had a busy day, but I've got a few stories I want to share, have a little refresh before the tasting. So that was kind of where the idea came from. So I just kind of thought, I'll just do these little short videos, because if I've got a couple hours spare in the afternoon, I can just sit down, record a video and do a 2-3 minute video. But the one I did today, I think it's 6 minutes long, which the Instagram algorithm will absolutely hate. So I think it'll probably get about 5 views. But no, yeah, it was something I just thought I think the thing up here is that after moving back to Scotland, a lot of the stuff I do is hosting clients or people who are here from the States or wherever it might be. And they like to know all the kind of romantic history of whiskey and maybe not so much of the industry geekery side of things. So I think Whiskey Bites is kind of fulfilling that side of things for me, is probably tailored a bit more towards the trade, like bartenders, people who actually work in whiskey or are starting out in whiskey and want to know, okay, here's 17 hours worth of whiskey knowledge condensed into, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
To try and kind of just say, well, and also I guess just sharing my own perspectives and thoughts and ramblings and nonsense about what the current state of whiskey is. So point in fact, the one I was recording today about regionality, I think that for so long, people have kind of learned to, if you go into a whiskey bar, I think most bars just have it regional, this is a Speyside whiskey, these are Highlands, these are Islay, these are Campbelltown, and so on, which is fair enough, because obviously it's good to segment a menu into something, but it's almost what is a Speyside and what is a Highland in terms of style, because it's so hard because they're all so different. Every single Speyside distillery, even though they love a sherry cask in Speyside, there's so much diversity between styles of fermentation times and still shapes and every other, little factor that goes into making that specific whiskey. So how can you definitively say the Lowlands has a style or the Highlands has a style? I mean, obviously the tripwire in that is things like Islay, which does have a style for the most part. and obviously Campbelltown to a certain extent. But yeah, so it's kind of, I suppose, like rocking the apple cart a little bit, because I don't really believe that it's just 5 whiskey regions anymore. I think we've got way more than that. And I think I saw a message in the comments about the whiskey map, which I just launched the other day, which is basically, I had this idea since I moved back. Really, it was just like I have this thing for maps. I like always make a map after a trip or before a trip. If I'm going to a new country or a new city, I will make a my map and drop loads of pins of like, that's a restaurant, that's a bar, because then I can send it to other people. You know, when like someone asks for recommendations, they're saying, I'm going to Edinburgh for the first time, and you're digging through your phone or your laptop trying to find this list with like 35 different recommendations. I was like, well, that's not as useful as having a map, which is like, I can send it to you in one link. It's there. It's got the links. It's got the phone numbers for the restaurants and the bars, and you can book everything, and it's a lot easier. So I did that with whiskey distilleries when I moved back to Scotland 4 years ago. I just started a little my map of distilleries that I wanted to go and visit since moving back, because there was loads of new ones, obviously, and I'd been out of the country for 13 years. So over the last 4 years, I've just kind of been adding to it, which it got to the state of having all the distilleries, all the ones that had visitor centers, and then the other day I just thought, screw it, I'm just going to publish it now because it actually might be useful. But obviously I'd kind of jigged around the regions a little bit. So, for example, Fife is now a whiskey region. Unofficially, Fife is a whiskey region.
I mean, why not? Like, it was once a kingdom as well. So is this on the website? I missed that. So, like, do you have like people can click on the distillery and kind of like see facts about it?
I can share the screen from here, can I?
Yeah.
So let me see if I can share it and give you a tour. I'll see if I can share screen. Does that come up?
No. Oh, here we go. It's come up. There.
Yeah. So it's kind of useful in 2 ways, hopefully, because actually it's got a tally of all the distilleries in Scotland broken down into regions.
Oh, look at that. That's cool.
This is cool. I was geeking out on this earlier on.
And then, so if you click over here, there we go. So yeah, it's got Highlands, and then obviously VC's Visitor Centre. So that if you want to go and visit Arbiki, you can just click on that and it takes you to the website. So
that is very clever.
Glengarry, obviously for you, Kat.
Nice.
And then you can obviously just zoom it in now. But yeah, so the way we've kind of broken it down is, so Speyside, Highland, Hebrides, because actually now they've got about, was it 9? Is it 9 Hebrides? There's actually like a Hebridean whiskey trail now. So
there's like an island hopper, isn't it? The cruise.
Yeah.
Around.
Starting pretty much in Jura.
Festival.
But yeah, it's like there's an actual trail now, even though, like you say, it'll probably take you about 4 weeks to actually complete it with all the ferries.
Get the Trebuchet out.
Campbelltown, Isla, Islands, and then Lowlands as well. But one of the other reasons as well was like, it's a really stupid thing, but I was just whenever like saw these like publications or like media articles, no one had an accurate number of how many distilleries were actually in Scotland. Like it was always like 145 or 149. There's over 150, and like a lot of other websites say no, there's over 60 distilleries in Speyside and 23 in the Highlands, and I was like, well, at least now no one's got an excuse. Like they're all there.
And I noticed So how I noticed when I was looking through, you had things like Witchburn on there. And how far on does a distillery have to be to make it onto your map?
That's a good question. I put on Witchburn there. I think they are opening this year because I was actually thinking like because the stills aren't actually going yet, and I don't think the distillery's even finished, but I think they are opening this year. So there's probably a few on there that were slightly premature, but the intent is there as well. I was actually chatting with who was I speaking to about Dalmore and the visitor centre not being quite open yet, but I'd listed the VC is open, but they open in, I think 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
So I've changed it to like VC coming in 2020 or reopening in 2026 as well. So yeah, like I'm still tweaking it and stuff. And then someone pointed out to me that Aberargie wasn't actually in Fife; it was actually in Perthshire, so I had to change that too. So, but yeah, it'll always be a work in progress, and I think that's the thing as well. Like because we've had 54 new distilleries in the past 20 years, which is absolutely mental.
That's great.
It's nice to see like resources like that, because it reminds me of Vicky with her sip seekers as well.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, no, definitely, because it's quite difficult. The fact you've put VC on there, like, you know, the amount of people that turn up at distillery that they can't visit because, you know, they think that it's a distillery, so they'll be able to go in. So just have that information at hand as well. And with Vicky, of course, she's got, like, you know, different tour times and different opening times, because we all open at different times, different days. Some are 7 days, some don't open Sunday, Monday. Like, it's a bit of a minefield. So to have like all of that kind of amalgamated and condensed into one location, it's, you know, it's great, because if the whiskey industry's in a bit of a downturn, the tourism industry is definitely not, and VCs are still buoyant. So anything that helps people visit us is.
You say that, but then obviously there was the news recently about Clynelish shutting down their visitor centre. So it's not, you know, roses for absolutely every distillery in Scotland. There's, I think, a lot of the far-flung ones out in the sticks which are struggling a bit as well.
Yeah. I'm surprised by that with the NC 500 and that. But they were quite.
They are, and
quite a buoyant kind of region, but I guess having that umbrella of Diageo, I think, you know, they're pretty quick to react to things, and if it's not making money, then it's not okay. We'll see what happens. We'll run through it as it's not making money, shut it down, and we'll move on to something else. They're kind of very active like that. You wouldn't see an distillery doing that.
Have you guys been up to Clynelish before?
Not done the visitor centre. No, I've been up. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Like I went a couple of times. I went once when I did the NC 500 when I came back to Scotland, and I was doing it with my mate. He had like an old 72 VW camper van, so we did it properly. Like we did the whole hog. We got stuck in Cape Wrath or somewhere near Cape Wrath. There was no hotels open for dinner. It was a Wednesday. I think we had crisps and Lafroig pate for dinner in the back of the van or something like that. But Stop past Clynelish had a highball, and they'd spend millions on the bar for, like, you know, highballs, cocktails, which is great to see, because every time a distillery does that, that sort of helps change that perception about not mixing whiskey and stuff. So you've seen it like Glenlivet and you know, lots of other distilleries as well, adding in that bar experience, or Cardew. So yeah, it's like a shame they pumped that much money into it, and then just to kind of almost make that sort of knee-jerk reaction. But then you kind of go, well, is it a lot to do with the fact that the Diageo share price has been tanking for the last 4 years, and then you've had drastic Dave Lewis from Tesco come in and probably making some pretty cutthroat decisions about, you know, the state of the business? Or is it partly tourism as well, staffing issues, not enough people stopping past, like maybe probably not the best business model to have a cocktail bar when everyone stopping past has got a car?
That's part of the problem with the North Coast 500. There's so little in between stop points, and staffing, especially seasonal staff. It must be nearly impossible to keep staff up there. I know it is a shame, but I guess, it's easier to close down a VC than to cut costs anywhere else. But we'll never really know the real reason behind it, I'm sure.
Yeah. But it's been tough. I mean, like, you know, economically for whiskey, I think this has been the hardest part about the last year, is just watching. You're kind of like sitting with like a festering bag of popcorn, watching like the most horrible kind of, you know, things happening to the industries you love. Like I grew up in hospitality, and I've been in whiskey for the past 10 plus years, both of which are having a horrific time at the moment, and it's hard to watch. And it's you're just kind of scratching your head, going like, where's the turning point? Because we've had this for a couple of years now. I think really it happened for whiskey start happening in just after lockdown, maybe 2023 was like the first signs of like, okay, maybe we had a bit of a party in lockdown. Everyone sold a lot of whiskey. Now it's all sitting stacked up in warehouses in all the major whiskey markets, not getting drunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a predicament, but I think the industry is strong enough to survive it. I think we bounce back. It's nothing new, is it? It's not a trend that we haven't seen before. You think we'd learn and be better equipped to deal with a slump.
Yeah,
it's as bad as a slump. I've always kind of championed that it's more of a reset. After COVID, after that incredible spike, and I would love it if it was possible in some kind of multiverse or to see where we would be on a natural line from 2019 to today, to see if it would be a natural growth rather than a big spike to a drop.
Yeah, I think honestly that a lot of the distilleries, I mean, everyone was like just milking that sort of cranking the output, like trying to get as many. I think it was just I don't know why it happens like every single time. Like there's a sort of premiumization. I think that everyone just thinks that goes forever, like in this kind of never-ending upwards bell curve, and it always has a point where it drops off. And all the distilleries since lockdown have been cranking the stills to max capacity.
Yeah,
the warehouses are full, the casks are all full. Nothing goes up forever. So this is also why in the last year we've seen a lot of distilleries turning the taps off. I mean, actually, someone was chatting to on a WhatsApp group said December only 7 out of the 29 Diageo sites were still producing spirit.
Really? That's mad.
I mean,
but is it mad really? If you look at it from a business point of view, while the going was good, they made enough spirit that they maybe had the foresight in knowing, this isn't going to run forever, so we'll make shitloads now. So we're ready for the next, if there's a slump that lasts 5 years, when it comes back, we've already got the spirit.
And then what happens to the distillery workers who lose their jobs in the short term?
Yeah. Does somebody like Diageo care about that? No, they don't care. They obviously have something there, but to them it's less important. Figures, in fact, is important to them. Money making is important to them, and you wouldn't see an independent distillery or a smaller, somebody like Beam Suntory or Dewars or something like that. It'd probably have a bigger impact on somebody like that to do that than somebody who owns 29 distilleries or whatever, plus everything else that they've got.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think but it happened in the 80s as well. I mean, maybe to a more extreme extent. Mm-hmm. Back in 1983 when, there was, 33 distilleries shutting down over the following years. Hopefully things will be a bit more stabilized than that for us. But, I mean, I do think this will be the start of a turnaround year, though. I have a feeling that things will start uptaking again.
Yeah.
Everything works in cycles. Like things like the Diageo share price. I mean, all the share prices of all the big drinks companies have been going down for 4 years. Everything in the stock market happens in a 4-year cycle. So this is the year that they'll all start bouncing back. This is not financial advice, by the way, but I'm just saying that I do think they'll recover this year.
Is that 4-year cycle linked to the presidency, do you think?
Honestly,
we don't normally talk about politics. In fact, we're not going to talk politics. But
no,
there's a 4-year cycle over there too. So,
there's a endless cycle. Yeah.
I
think there's another 3 years of him, but I mean, half of this is his fault anyway for those bloody tariffs.
Oh, fuck yeah. Let's move back. I want to go back to your map because Paul McKendrick's had a great comment here, and something that Dave Hackerson has also commented as well. He thinks that a map or location of independent bottlers could be a good addition to the map, given their contribution as well. I remember we spoke about this.
I was going to say they're five based. So.
Yeah, they are. They'll get
No,
it, isn't
totally.
it?
I think the only problem with these Google Maps is they only have so many layers, and because I've got like 25 maps on my Google Drive, and they have 10 layers max, and I think I'm now at 8 with all the regions. So and also I didn't want to clutter it too much. I didn't want it to be like filled with like 500 pin drops to make it impossible to navigate. So I wanted to just keep it to the distilleries to try and help boost things like visitation and people planning trips and stuff like that as well. So yeah, there's loads of stuff I could add to it. Maybe it'll be a separate map further down the page.
Yeah.
But no, for sure. I think just like helping local businesses, and obviously like when I came to see you, Mike, in December, like things like doing one for the road with Macaulay, taking people around. It's not it's about taking them to really good whiskey experiences, but also showing them local, the best local whiskey stores and shops like Inverurie, taking them past the Fog House, taking them to Glengarry, just really showing them the best distilleries, the best whiskey. It's not that complicated, but I mean, I've missed doing it. Like last year wasn't on the road as much. This year I'm going to be back around a lot more, which I'm looking forward to. So yeah, but I mean, it's there's so many distilleries have upped their game when it comes to experiences. People are building like a luxury hotel on the side of the distillery, like somewhere like I don't know, Razzie. They've got like a 6-bedroom hotel, Ardbeg hotel now as well.
Yeah, I think we kind of have to. Like a lot of the requests that I see is, I've been to 5 distilleries. I know what a tour is like. What else can you offer me? Because people need, like, everyone's skint just now, so you want more of your money. If you are on holiday, if you're making an excursion, a trip, you kind of want to see how far you can stretch that pound. And people are asking the question, okay, that's great, but what else do you do? So like, we have to be there to create those experiences for people, and it's fair because it challenges us. It makes us kind of think out the box and kind of approach the tourism and sort of visitor experience from a new angle, which is fun. But there's a lot of competition out there as well.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think are you guys doing because at Glengarry you've got that little kind of building on the outside. You do like
the bothy.
The bothy, you've got dances and stuff. No, I know you've got the bothy where you do the tastings, like the table and stuff, but you've also got somewhere else you were talking about doing like a big Burns Ceilidh or something like that as well, or has that not happened?
So the malt barns are...
Malt barns, yeah.
Well, yeah, we'd kind of thought about using the malt barns potentially as an event space, but we've also gone back to floor malting, so it's no longer really an option because it's kind of used for... I mean, there's an upstairs floor that's just used for storage, but it'd be awesome to do something with that. But in terms, it's an old building, so I don't think the stairs would meet modern day building regs for getting a coachload of 50 elderly Americans up there, and there's no toilets. So this is a downside of a 230-year-old building, that it wasn't pre-thought out for future visitation. But we've done a couple of events in there, but it's just not really practical, to be honest.
It's funny you mentioned toilets there, kind of slightly off-center topic, but someone sent a link to our WhatsApp group the other day about the new Guinness experience down in London, and how they've put, like, the journalist was writing about it, saying like how they've put the toilet on the 5th floor,
like Weatherspoons.
and they're like Guinness literally could not organize a piss up in a brewery.
Oh, whoever wrote that line, take a week off, you nailed it.
No, it was so good. But yeah, I mean, well, this is the thing. I think the bonus of being a new distillery is you have that hindsight of being able to plan in things like accommodation, experiences, a shop, a more diverse revenue stream through X, Y, and Z. And when you're one of the oldest distilleries in Scotland, you have to do a lot of retrofitting to, build around that.
Yeah, definitely. I know. But it's fantastic because some distilleries are being built just around that, or visitor centres rather, either around about getting large numbers of people or, meeting that kind of T&P crowd that just want 52 people to come off a coach, do a quick tour and get back on again. that's awesome because we need those places too. So yeah, a lot of competition out there, but we're all doing something different. So there's something for everyone. It's just the travel, but you've got that sorted with your one for the road. How many people do you fit in your minibuses?
Well, he's got 3 vehicles. He's got 3 Mercs. Is it one? Yeah, 1 6-seater and 2 4-seaters. So we're trying to primarily focus on the 6-seater, but we've actually got our first trip booked for next week. We've got a couple coming from Brazil.
Cool. Amazing.
So we'll be taking them through to Speyside next Thursday.
Nice.
Fantastic.
So do you focus on tours? So you take the guys to the distillery, do you book in the tour, do they go on the tour, or are you more looking at a whole kind of experience where you can maybe say you can get 4 or 5 distilleries who have a bar experience? Because that's become really popular now, distilleries, isn't it? That bar.
It's more like, sending like recommendations. So they book directly, like say a distillery experience or a tour, where we'll like offer suggestions and recommendations.
Yeah.
So next Thursday, for example, we're taking them to driving through straight to Macallan, have a walk around, going up to the bar for a cocktail, maybe do a flight, go to the shop, and then drive them down to lunch. Then they've booked a tour at Glenfiddich in the afternoon for 2 hours, and then we're going to swing up and see Lindsay at the Cabrac on the way back to Aberdeen.
Yeah. Yeah, so everything's kind of bespoke. It's not a set itinerary that people.
No. It's all. I think it's always going to be custom because it'll be different pickup points. So these guys are staying in Aberdeen, but the next one might be staying in Inverness. So we obviously, depending where they're dropping off as well. So it's always going to be different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I like that. That's something that Kat, you were just saying about people who are distilleries are offering something different. It's not just a tour, because I think a lot of people are now trying to get as much distilleries under their belt, tick off something. And if you're doing a full tour, chances of you getting more than 2, you might get 3 at a push if they're close together.
Yeah.
But these experiences.
I think I always say to people whenever they come to Scotland, you don't need to do more than 1 or 2 distilleries in a day to have a good experience, because some of the best stuff is just everything around it, like a local pub or a local restaurant or a nice little kind of scenic view, like taking them down to like Dunnottar Castle, for example, and just having a dram with them looking out in Dunnottar Castle. I mean, it doesn't really, assuming the weather's not like it is just now.
Doesn't get more Scottish than that, does it?
But like a lot of that stuff as well, it's like the whiskey package isn't just distilleries, it's everything around it too.
Yeah. We used to love going up to Cardew. We still do love going up to Cardew. One, because they do that quick tour. It's like an hour. And everything's just kind of streamlined. And it's for people who've maybe done a couple of tours and they just want to have a look around the distillery. They don't go full in. And the other thing I loved about them was the cows. You could go up and the cows were super friendly. You could feed them the biscuits.
Pack of rich teas, yeah.
Yeah, they loved it.
There's one, it's funny. Yeah, I mean, I've done that with, you can do it at Cardew, Glenfiddich, Macallan, have them as well. But whenever you like put the rich tea in their hand and they're just doing this, and this like massive tongue just comes out and it's all hairy and like kind of prickly, and they're like,
yeah.
It's like a big Labrador.
Some of the best photos I've taken on tours have been the reactions to that.
Yeah. Did you have a lot of tours last year?
We did, yeah. We were busy with tours right up until the first weekend of December. And then we got a couple of inquiries in between December and January, which we just couldn't. Did we do one? I think we did do one, but it was up to you guys at Glengarry. We did a half day. It was Glengarry in the morning and then back to the Folkhouse for a wee tasting. But yeah, we were doing. I mean, busy for us in tour side is 2 or 3 a month. Yeah, that's quite good. It's not our main stream, but it's just a nice kind of way of getting people to know about us as well. So, yeah, that was.
Yeah, I guess you have I think the day to day as well. Like, I think people like us are not built for being stuck at home all day. I'm on the laptop a lot the last few months. Just there was so much to do for the launch of One for the Road. Like I was editing videos and designing decks and all that kind of stuff that needs to get done. Be like, okay, I want to get out on the road again and be hosting and take it. Seeing the look on someone's face when you do like say something like that, take them up to see the cows at Cardew, or if you take them down the Craigie Bridge for the first time and have a dram with them there, or wherever it might be.
Yeah.
Just and just hanging out with people as well. Like, my background's hospitality, and I spent 16 years just looking after people with a drink in their hand, and that's never going to change. I'm always going to do that in some shape or form. So yeah, it's just I think that hosting people, giving them drams, telling them stories, telling them average jokes. What it's all about. So yeah, that's the game.
Yeah,
it is. There's nothing more special than kind of like making somebody's holiday experience, because a lot of these people have come, they've saved up all year to book a holiday to Scotland, and they've chosen to come to like your distillery, your bar, your travel experience. Like, it's quite humbling as well that that you're responsible for making sure that their visit to Scotland is like everything they dreamed of. And I love that when you just see people's like face light up, and you meet people from all around the world. It's insane. From from Brazil to, I don't know, I can't think of another country. Just
well, I mean, last summer, my one of my friends from Australia, a guy called Lucian, really good mate. He came over with his dad and his cousin, and I just took them around in my car for the day, picked them up in they booked a little Airbnb in Speyside, and I just drove them around for the day. We took them to Glenfiddich because he's friends with Struan. Like, this is from when we were all in Melbourne together, so we went down and see Struan in Glenfiddich, and then we drove. And then the first time I'd ever been here, but I was absolutely blown away by this place as well because Struan recommended it. It's the Croft Inn up next to Glenlivet. Have you been there?
No.
So it's right. So
I've driven past it quite a few times actually. Cause you come round the back of Ben Rennis to that, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you came up like going towards Glen Rennis, behind
Glen Rennis distillery, the gin distillery. Yeah. I know what it is.
So,
stopped in.
The back road, not the main road where Ballindalloch is, but if you cut up behind, you've got the Croft Inn just over the hill. So basically, this guy, I think his name's Chris. So he was a tube driver in London for something like 50 years or 40 years. And he'd obviously got like a really good pension and all this, but he's just like got fed up being stuck underground, driving in the dark, basically. And who could blame him? And then his husband is this really amazing Thai chef. So they decided to leave London and they went traveling around Scotland, and they were sort of looking for a location to set up, because the one thing they noticed, there was no really good Thai restaurants or no really authentic Thai restaurants. So for whatever reason, they found the Croft Inn, which used to be like just, I think, like a pub with like rooms, and they've turned it into this absolutely amazing Thai restaurant. And you just would not expect that from being up next to, between Glenlivet and Dufftown. It's absolutely phenomenal. One of the best meals I've ever had. So we went up that night, first time I'd been in, and honestly, you'd think this guy's background was in hospitality because you sat down in the front and he comes through and he brings you like board games. He brings you all these articles from when they first opened, telling the story. You honestly think he'd worked in hospitality his whole life, but he's just like, I've always wanted to just host people and look after them after being stuck underground driving for 50 years.
That's so lovely.
Honestly, I encourage you guys to go up and go for a meal there. It's absolutely amazing.
I'll write that one down.
Definitely. I passed it. When was I up? I was up. We did Glenlivet with a tour in the Tom and Towel. Where Tom and Towel? The bridge was closed. I remember going through Tom and Towel. The bridge was closed, so you had to go the long way around.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up going past there. And I remember thinking, I've not seen that before. I need to go and pass and see it. I just haven't been back up in the area since.
So good.
Can we just put a wee shout out to Paul, who has managed to pour himself a wee teacher into the glass and definitely into his own pants at the very least.
You know what, Paul? Play your cards right, and I might pour teachers into your pants.
At least we're only 30 minutes away from the watershed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try pouring teachers.
Is it the teacher's shed?
I'm attempting to pour it into my glass now. I've wasted so much of it. It's literally everywhere. I'm gonna have to do the washing again. It's so annoying. Talking about like discovering new quirky places. Have either guys been to the Artisan Bar in Wishaw? Is that the place? Wishaw. I'm saying it really weird. Wishaw.
You get weirder and weirder the more you. That's the Duke of Dog Kill. Right?
Oh, bottle kill. Well done. It's very, very cool. I went there a couple of weeks ago, and like the guy who owns it, they're a lovely couple, and their name escapes me just now. That's awful. I'll type it in. But it's like the biggest opened collection of whiskey in Europe. Like, I have never seen anything like it in my life. It's absolutely insane.
That must be a
like we're
sizable
raking around. Say again?
That must be a pretty sizable collection if it's the largest, because it's not the Tipsy Midgie in Edinburgh. That not got 800 open bottles.
Yeah, so he does beat that. Yeah, Derek and Fiona, well done, guys. Callum and Paul. Yes, Derek and Fiona, they're absolutely lovely. So it's like a restaurant, and Derek's the chef, and his wife Fiona's like front of house. But he's just this insane collector, and it's just floor to ceiling bottles. But he hasn't changed the prices in all the years he's been running it. So like I was digging out, or Paul was digging out these bottles of Bamore in the back of the shelf, like covered in dust, like old, like just old school, like Bamore, which I absolutely love, which is like you know, tropical fruit, opal fruits, so good. Like for a couple of quid, like oh my gosh, I could have got hammered in the most tasteful way possible in that place. It's absolutely fantastic.
You could have spilled a few pictures in there.
Everyone's pants would have been wet in that place by the time I was done.
I'm just going to say hello to Reb and apologise, Reb. You come in at a terrible time. We are talking teachers of whiskey.
We are talking teachers. Reb, I need to get hold of your details actually, because I've had an inquiry about kosher whiskies, and I know you're my man for talking to you about this. I need to get your email so I can properly speak to you about this, because we've had 2 inquiries recently, and I was like, I need to get hold of Reb just so I could understand properly about this.
You could have just asked me.
Oh yeah, I could have done, couldn't I? I know Reb does the list of kosher whiskies, and it's just I always want to make sure I'm giving people the right information without, like, you know, fully understanding what I'm talking about as well. So Reb, I need to get your deets, and we'll get your. I need to see your list that you print as well. Oh, you're in the UK. Excellent. Come and see us. Come up north. We'll get a little meet up a Reb.
Someone was asking about saving the map.
Yeah.
You just have to bookmark my website, I'm afraid.
Yeah. That's fair.
I see my face every time you open it. I might just do that. I might just have a pop-up, just like.
You should. I mean, it's a fancy enough website. It's very impressive.
Yeah, the webs. I think like that's the thing when starting out going freelance. The website takes absolute ages to do, and it'll be forever a work in progress too. But I think, yeah, it's like. I'm glad I taught myself these things, because I would have been like bankrupt before I even started if I'd had to pay someone to do all these things. So that was kind of going back in time, you know, to like I'll just teach myself things like graphic and website design now, so I can, you know, save a fortune later on when I go self-employed and start my own brands and businesses.
You know, it makes a lot of difference though. Like, you know, sometimes you go into a website and if it's a bit clunky and a bit kind of old-fashioned looking, it just kind of puts you off straight away. But yours is really easy to maneuver, kind of really set out nicely. Obviously, me like feature on it, so I'm like, yes, that's a sell.
Yeah, but, I'll put you in the link to the shop and the distillery. Just click on your face.
Click on yes.
Click on my face.
And I'll be like, when you hover over it, there'll be a pair of wet pants with teachers all over it.
I feel like this might be the tagline for the Blether tonight. Wet pants.
There's a teacher in my pants.
I think every week the T-shirt kind of prints itself. And one time, Mike, it should be you that accidentally say something stupid and not. No, not stupid. Creative. We're going to go with creative.
Creative, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely creative. Kat, I have just pinged you through Reb's details with the whiskey list of kosher whiskies as well.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm just writing down wet pants because I'm trying to keep on top of our socials. So I just, I want to remember our chat.
You're gonna look at that in the morning and think,
tomorrow's to-do list, wet pants.
Yeah, Fraser Campbell equals wet pants. What was that about?
I really hope your kids don't read that first.
Well, it's like when I went to the wine tasting at your bar, Mike, and it was I must have been 39 because I was creating my things to do before I turned 40 list, and I found the list the next day, and I think everybody should write something while drunk and then read it while sober, because it's a realization about yourself that you really weren't aware of.
That was a Kilcoman tasting, wasn't it?
Oh, it was Kilcoman.
Who's the quote? It's the quote by Right Drunk Edits. No, Right Drunk Edit Sober. Was that W.C. Fields or Churchill or Bukowski or?
I don't know. I mean, Churchill famously liked a good old bevy in the evening, didn't he? So
I think it was W.C. Fields.
Right Drunk Edit Sober. I like that. That's good.
I like that too.
The old Chinese democracy was discussed. They used to discuss any change in the rules sober and pissed, and if it was a good idea in both states, then and only then it would get passed. It's a great way of working things out.
I came up with a quote in my head before Christmas, but I can't remember what it was. And I think it was bad ideas are just good ideas with a short expiry date.
That's cool.
Or a short shelf life.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think nearly every week in the Blether we come up with some sort of revolutionary idea that we should definitely be doing.
Wet pants is a great idea.
Yeah. Maybe not with teachers though.
No, I really think we have to stop referencing my brand.
And definitely not your kids' pants.
No. Well, if my knickers were on the table, I would have used them, but it just so happened that I didn't do them in my load of washing. I just did towels and pants. So, it's just the luck of the draw.
Do you guys remember the TV show Round the Twist?
Yeah.
I know the name, but I can't think what the show was.
It was an Australian TV show about a family that lived in a lighthouse, and there was always these weird, spooky goings on, but it was always it was almost like watching, what was that show in the UK? With Papa Lazarou, that kind of style humor. League of Gentlemen. So it was that kind of weirdness.
Yeah.
But there was an episode where something happened to the oldest son, and he couldn't stop saying "without my pants." So everything that followed, he had to say "without my pants." So he's like, "I can't go out without my pants. Without my pants." So for Kat, it'd be like, "I can't wet my pants without my pants."
I think we should do that on the Blether. I'm going to get all the guys watching on the Blethering to send in a word that I have to try and shoehorn in every single week just to see if anybody notices. Every week just gets slightly more extreme. Because nobody would really notice, because I say absolute ridiculous.
Well, I was going to say, that's almost impossible to know what.
I'm going to start making a list of things to send you during the Blether.
Yeah. Just to see if you can make me say it. Yeah. We've got a lot of Churchill trivia coming in. There's a good story about Churchill and his favourite brandy complaining to Stalin the quality had dropped out to get the head distiller released from the gulag where it had been sent. I love how diverse our Blethering knowledge is. That's awesome. We have to stop saying teachers makes your pants wet. It's really giving me the fear now. We're just going to stop talking about teachers.
It's going to throw up so many different algorithms for this chat. It's quite scary as to what kind of sites we're going to pop up on.
I know.
They should release a beer brand called Stalin Artois.
They should. If they didn't before, they're going to do it now.
Goes really well with the bowl of Gestapo Gazpacho.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Dominic said the Churchill quote. I think I made. Yeah, however, in the morning I will be sober. Yeah, his wife had said, or somebody said to him, "You're drunk again, Winston," and he says, "However, in the morning I will sober, while you will still be ugly." Love it.
That's harsh.
I know. We don't have that characters now kind of running the country. We've got fucking wet blankets. It doesn't. Yeah. Anyway,
there's no jokes anymore. At least none you can. I mean, the jokes are the politicians themselves now.
Yeah. Do you think there's just have they built up their own kind of lack of respect by people? Or is it just too easy to rip them because of social media? Because you never, I mean, even you look at somebody like Trump, he's cannon fodder. He's so easy to take the piss out of. But Obama, you never seen that. And that's only, okay, it was 12 years ago now, isn't it? 3 terms ago. But social media has changed so much that it's so easy to target them. But
you just have to watch Jimmy Kimmel is just rubbing his hands with every episode he does.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah!
He's got so much material. He literally the last one I watched. He's like, I don't even know where to start. There's so much happened in the past 24 hours.
No.
You see, he was up in Speyside at the end of last year.
That was Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon, yeah.
Yeah. He was up in he was D-side. So yeah, I love that when he did the video saying, I was out with the local battalion or whatever, and they were giving me shots of Buckfast there. Yeah,
it wasn't Blackwood, it was the Queen's Guards based in Blether.
Yeah, but I saw he stopped because I saw he was past Candacraig, which is obviously Billy Connolly's old house, where I've done 3 whiskey tastings. It's absolutely beautiful, but I think he was just at the gate kind of waving, and the staff were raging that he never went past to say hello. I think he just stopped at the sign because he knew it was Billy Connolly.
But you have to push, because we've done a tasting there as well through McLean and Bruce. Guys, we've been up there in some Germans. That was a bizarre tasting because nobody came in. There was a group of, I think it was about 12 of them. It was all couples, and they weren't all in the room at the same time. It was just like
coming and going. Yeah,
it was so bizarre because we planned this tasting. We had all the whiskey pouring and everything ready for this kind of sit down chat about it, and they were so blasé. And actually, one of the things I've learned about doing that kind of tasting is just go with it. Don't let yourself get annoyed. Because 10 years ago when I did that kind of thing, I'd find myself getting annoyed with it and like, come on guys, we prepped it. I know what I'm doing. Sit down.
Yeah.
Listen. And then it's just like, and then you just kind of realize, this is their day. They've paid me to be here. They're if they're relaxed about it, then fine.
They're just happy to sit down and whiskey. I had the same when my last tasting at Candacraig, it was for a Puerto Rican family. It was actually really funny because I went in and there must have been like 6 of them. There was a couple of kids running around as well. And I saw the main guy who obviously had arranged the trip with the family. And I looked at him and went, I think I know you from somewhere. And he kind of did the same with me. And it turned out, so he owns a hotel in Puerto Rico called the Vanderbilt. And that was the place I did my very first tasting as the Global Ambassador for Dewars. And he was there.
Really? No way.
It was so bizarre because it took us ages to figure out, and then obviously because I go to Puerto Rico like quite a lot, like usually once a year, except last year. The year before I was out helping my friend with his bar, so I'm out there quite a bit. So I know a lot of the folk there. So we're like, oh yeah, so and so and stuff. But yeah, like one of my mates worked for him and stuff. So it was weird, but it was the same kind of thing as what you were saying, Mike. With those kind of tastings where there's like kids there or like people are coming in late, you just have to because you start your spiel and just say, oh, kind of intro into, here's a snapshot of whiskey in 5 minutes, and then someone comes in late, and you're like, oh, should I repeat again? You're like, nah, fuck it, just gonna keep going.
Yeah, just sit down and catch up. Yeah, you just because before, obviously I was quite new to it, and the amount of research or prep you do lessons as you go on because you pick things up, and then being able to spin it. That's the biggest teaching I've got myself is don't get annoyed. Just let it go. If they're paying you to be there, it's their time. If they're not interested, fine. If focus on the ones who are, you chat to them, and you have to be able to spin it. And if they don't want to talk about it, like tonight, we go off on tangents, and a lot of my tastings now do that, especially on the private groups. If they've hired a castle, you're going along to entertain them. A lot of the time, I wish I wasn't driving because you just want to sit down and join in and dram with them and stuff. But because the really nice guys just sit in, and it's often families, and you get chatting to the kids and all that, and it's just it's like such a welcoming kind of environment, and you're like, I'm getting paid to do this. The only thing missing is a dram in my hand.
Yeah, I know. Well, the good news for me now is with One for the Road, Macaulay's going to be doing all the driving, so I can have that. Well, no, actually, that's not true because I've still got to drive over his in the morning before we head off.
Yeah,
so I'll still have to drive back when I get back to Aberdeen. So no, that won't be the case. But yeah, I think I like doing the like multi-day trips where you're with people for a few days and you actually really get to know them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because get a bit of downtime in the evening.
It's more frequent, but like when you're with them for 3 days, they become like family, and you really get to know them and stuff. So yeah, I love it. It's like I think what you were saying earlier, just showcasing them when they arrive here. Like, here's an amazing first-class whiskey experience, but also here's the local pub which sells scampi fries, and we'll stay here, playing some stupid drinking game till 1 a.m. It's like they want to see everything. And like, this is the great thing about whiskey is like the best whiskey experiences. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, if I think about some of the best whiskeys I've ever had, it's rarely about the whiskey and it's always about who I'm with and the location. And like, so like I have this memory of being in Mexico when I was over with Dewars, and it's the guys. I basically got there. Because obviously these Latin American itineraries, they absolutely rinse your time. You're working 18 hours a day. It's like you wake up at 6, you're on from the word go. You're doing media interviews about the brand. You're hosting a bartender tasting at 8 a.m. God knows why bartenders want to get up at that time, but that's what you're doing. And then you're doing constant events, tastings, events, dinner, and then you're up again doing the same thing. But I remember vividly going to Mexico. It was one of my favorite trips. And my friend Susanna, who was like the regional manager for Bacardi, I was like, what are we doing today? She's like, oh, a bunch of bartenders are going to be standing around beating you with sticks. And I was like, all right, fine, I think. And then I basically turned up to the event. It was like a Mexican kind of barbecue in one of these bars with like a decking. And what they'd actually done is they'd made like a papier machier version of me, like a tiny mini me papier machier, like a piñata basically. And they put a rope around its neck and hung it up. And literally everyone was beating it with sticks. And I still have this photo of me drinking whiskey out of my own leg.
Not many people can say they've done that.
So yeah, like that's up there. And again, I can't even remember what the whiskey was. Obviously, it was going to be one of the Dewars range, but yeah, just like those kind of funny memories. Kind of stick in your head.
I mean, that's like a fever dream. That is quite niche. Like, but I love that's how diverse the whiskey world is. Like, you never know who you're going to meet or who's going to walk through the door or what they're going to ask you to do. I mean, to be fair, that is probably one of the more extreme ones of a paper mache figurine of yourself that you can beat with a stick. But like,
don't get the pants wet.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. I'm trying to think like talking to a brand ambassador though, right? You can never, it's like 11 Reef. If you've been to Tenerife, and a brand ambassador's always been to 11 Reef, not because you're being a dick, but just because like, you've probably just kind of trumped most people's kind of stories.
Yeah, but Kat, to be fair, we started off this podcast with you having whiskey in a pair of pants. So come on, I mean, like.
I mean, I don't think me mopping up whiskey with my washing pile is quite the same. But yeah, I mean,
The Aberdeen version.
you honestly never know though, like what you're going to do next. Yeah, like I don't know, filming with a Japanese TV crew, or like Mike, you've done some pretty cool things, like some of the tastings you go to, castles, whatever else. But I was thinking this today because Glengarry sponsor the opening of the salmon fishing season in the River Don, and we were talking about getting content and stuff for our social media, and I was talking to people about it within the larger company, and you kind of say these things, and they're like, people are like, wait, what are you doing? You're blessing the river with whiskey. You're like, yeah, you just get quake, you just throw some whiskey at the fish, blind them or whatever. It's all cool. But it's like, what? Like all these things are like so normal to Scottish people. Like, yeah, I was doing a tasting at a castle, like it's, hundreds and hundreds of years old, or whatever else, I don't know. It's just so normal to Scottish people. Yeah, we're at a Cayley, we're at a Burns night. But when you actually see it from somebody else's eyes, like it's pretty unique what we get to do here, and how it all kind of keeps linking back into the whiskey world as well. But yeah, I love that. So many crazy opportunities.
I have to remember that next time, because whenever I'm up at Speyside with a tour, we either go onto the old Halfpenny Victoria Bridge or go down to Craigellachie Bridge, and we'll have a dram. And I always kind of pour a toast to the spake and I pour a dram in. Next, I'm going to say, I'm just going to throw some whiskey at the fish. I think that's it's a much more fun way of putting it, isn't it?
Definitely, that's how the person who gets the first cast is definitely cheating, because all the fish are pissed by then. But yeah, it's a cool thing to get to do. It's like pretty retro.
I remember, because when I was at Dewars, we used to obviously host people down at Aberfeldy and Lochte and Kenmore. We used to do this Highland Safari. It was basically where we took people up on the hill, and there was a company we worked with, did all the catering and stuff. We had games. It was really good fun. Like, this is back in like 2016, 17. This is like every other week, just up and doing a Highland Safari with people from all over the world. And I remember these guys from I think they're from Eastern Europe, and they'd never been to Scotland before, and they were wearing kilts, and they decided to walk back down. It was a massive drive up the hill in these Land Rovers and six-wheelers. They decided after drinking to walk down the mountain or the hill, and I think they were bum skidding in kilts on the way down through the bracken. And basically the next morning they woke up and they were basically picking the ticks off their testicles.
Yeah. Tick-laden testes. Nobody wants that. Ew.
So,
what?
And bum as well. But yeah, I mean, that's the only kind of thing you can learn from doing it the hard way. So.
Yeah, definitely. What hill were you doing in Perthshire? I used to live near Kenmore. Just
it was. It's not as far down as Chehallion. It's one of the local ones. It's not even a Corbett. I don't think. It's basically just there's a clearing on top of it. It's right. Where the Kenmore lodges are. Mm-hmm. So just that hill there, just behind it.
Okay. I used to go to Mother and Toddlers in Kenmore. Nice little place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I heard, I think the whole kind of village got bought over, and obviously Taymouth Castle as well, by some American real estate billionaire, and it's now just a playground for the rich. And they bought over the local houses and shut down the post office, which I think has kind of been a recurring theme in Scotland over recent times as well.
Yeah, the North had a lot of that with gosh, I've just forgotten his name. The Danish retail owner guy. He's bought most of the North. It would become like a monopoly board.
Well, yeah. That was when we had the grand bill at the Balmoral, wasn't it? The Fife Arms was apparently his.
No, that's a different guy. The Fife Arms is that Poulsen. No, yes, Ian Poulsen. He's bought a lot of North, but I don't think he's got the Fife.
No, he doesn't have it. But remember, there was the receipt that went around. It went viral. It was like 250 grand. Apparently, that was Poulsen.
Yeah,
the one that was in the.
He owns Lidl, IKEA, doesn't he?
No, it's some retail stores that are really big in Norway, fashion, clothes stores. I don't think it's IKEA. unless he's got that now, but he owns most of north of Scotland. Like
Lot
he's
Sutherland, isn't it? Sutherland area. He's got.
Yeah, I think he's the second biggest landowner in Scotland after the Duke of Buccleuch, or maybe he's actually replaced the Duke of Buccleuch. I don't know. But I used to work for the estate, the one and only estate he didn't own, in like his monopoly board up there, and then the laird that I worked for, a raving alcoholic, mad as a box of frogs. Honestly, like he went around all day pissed with a loaded shotgun. But he sold up the estate and moved down south, and then Poulsen got the last one. So it's pretty much just the whole top of like Sutherland he owns.
It's wild, isn't it? Like it's a bit like the article about the guy who's the luxury whiskey collector who literally owns like all the ridiculous age statement, like the 84-year-old Macallan, like this, the space and time, this 250-gram bottle. He's got like 6 of those, and then the one with the creepy hands like this, he's got about 3 of those like as a table, and but his whole room, he looked like a Bond villain, but he's just this like, I don't know, it's like I don't think it was like South Korean, but it was it's like a bond layer of whiskey luxury collectibles, but it must be worth like in the tens and tens of millions, like stupid amount. But it's just like he's like the entire luxury whiskey market, this one guy.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump in and say cheerio to Dave Fackerson. He's going to head off.
Cheers, Dave.
Thanks for a great blether again tonight. Fraser's a guy you definitely like to meet. You would have met Dave. He came along to the Whiskey Woman event that we did at the
the Sandman.
The Sandman a couple of years ago.
Yeah. That was good fun. Yeah,
that was good.
That was actually the first night I'd met. I think Vicky as well, who's launched Sip Seekers.
Miller, yeah.
It would have been, because it was me, Megan from Woodrose, and Vicky, who are all up on speakers, and you were with Tracy, who
that was a really fun night. There was some good chats that night as well.
There was some really good chat, and I absolutely adore Tracy. I think that was probably the first night I properly met her, and then we kind of kept in touch after that.
She's in Isla, isn't she? She's over there now.
Yeah, she's at Port Ellen. I love her. She is so awesome.
Mm-hmm. I haven't caught up with her in a while. She messaged me. I think she was back in Aberdeen just before Christmas, but I missed her just by a couple of days, I think. So yeah, she's done pretty well. Going from being a tour guide at Lochnagar to being like head of brand home visits for Port Ellen.
Yeah,
cool.
We're going to get her on the Blether. We just couldn't get dates to match last year, but we'll get her on.
Dominic is commenting saying he walked up Schiehallion once. Who mentioned Schiehallion? I think you mentioned Schiehallion, Fraser.
Yeah, no, I did. No, Schiehallion, I've only been up it once in recent years. It's really rough at the top. It's like a proper scramble when you get there.
It's like pitch at the top. It's quite an easy climb. It's not that too big. I think it's one of the smallest Munros, isn't it?
It's just rocky at the top. Yeah.
Did you know that was used to measure the weight of the world?
I do know that.
Yeah.
I used to work with sheep that used to go to the top of Schiehallion. So there you go.
What were their names?
Mavis, Betty, Agnes, Glynis, Barbara.
Ethel. Barbara. Have you seen that guy? It was one of my favorite YouTube videos. This Australian farmer, and he had a goat called Kevin the Cunt, and he also had a sheep called Barbara. He's like, "G'day, Barbara."
Love it.
I
like Jim Smith. You watch him,
Farmer Jim.
Yeah. He's brilliant with the cows who had the affair and all that. It's so good.
I don't know. Was he like an actual farmer that became a comedian, or vice versa?
No, he was a farmer who he only became a comedian, I think, because of his videos. It was like a lockdown thing. He just started recording like funny stories with the sheep and stuff.
It was like one of the videos he did. It was like talking about how hot it was a couple of years ago. He's like, "Oh, it's so hot. If I didn't make it home tonight, if my sister sees this, tell her there's a Scotch egg in the fridge. It needs to be by Thursday."
Do you know who his sister is?
Summer House Drinks, isn't it? Rachel.
Yeah, it's
No,
Claire.
Claire.
Claire from Summer House Drinks, who do the Walter Gregor tonic in Summer House Drinks, based up in Fraserburgh, Rosario.
Oh yeah.
So she does that. So that's Jim's sister.
But was he not based down in Perthshire?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where they're from originally, I think.
Yeah. No, it's so funny. I listened to some of his. I'm sure he did like a skit on Darth Vader or something like that as well. But yeah, some funny stuff.
Yeah, he did. He did do that, but he does like panel shows now as well. Like he's quite clever, but he's got just this like really dry kind of.
Yeah, he's on the Scottish radio. What's it called? There's a quiz on Radio Scotland.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it is, but it's a comedy show. He's always on that. But he's brilliant. He's funny, and he reminds me a little bit of. He's like a Doric Billy Connolly, where he's just taking everyday things and making it funny.
Yeah. No, he's so good. Like those kind of videos, like because it's one of those ones you're watching, going, I'm not sure if he's a comedian, he's just found a farm, he's just doing this for the crack, or if he's actually a farmer, he's actually legitimately hilarious.
It's funny, yeah. No, he's a farmer, and I think it was he got viral from posting these funny videos. And people started asking him, and he's been on that panel shows, but it's the one with the cows.
We got the new bull, and it's like the sort of
Mavis. I think Mavis was the cow who just had a calf, and Angus was the bull who was out celebrating the lads, and she's getting pissed off because he's near back yet. And then it turns out he's having an affair, and she's also pregnant. There's another calf in the goats.
Yeah, it's almost not quite as legendary status as. What an ace spicking.
You can't be a bit of Scottish humour. When are we going to go viral, Mike? We need to. I don't know. Maybe we need to go viral.
I think your wet pants might go viral.
I think. Yeah. We need to snippet it. We need to do a little bit of whiskey bites and just you saying that. Yeah. Teachers made my kids wet pants wet, and that'll do it.
Just put teacher and kids pants, and it'll go viral anyway.
That's the beginning of the end for me. I can't go viral.
An investigation, but it'll be fine. It'll be all right.
The two things in life I cannot go viral for are being involved with Christopher Coates soaking himself in whiskey and talking about whiskey making your pants wet. I mean, seriously, it's lowbrow. You need to go viral.
Am I allowed a toilet break? Is that okay?
Yes, go 100%.
For it. You can do right. Just go. Nobody will notice.
It's just like having Russell back on.
Fraser's not that old, is he? I see Russell turned 60 just was it the end of last month?
Yeah.
So happy birthday, Russell. I think I did send it to you, but if you ever watch this.
Is that when you get your... Oh, yeah, happy birthday, Russell. Is that when you get your bus pass when you turn 60?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him right now.
Have you got your bus pass yet? We're on the Blether discussing your age.
It's quite late at night to send a random message of, do you have your bus pass yet? Save that for tomorrow. I love... Everybody's so super busy on the chat tonight. Like, there's loads of comments. Everybody's chatting to each other tonight. It's awesome. Is it snowy up in Aberdeenshire now? So, I drove to work on Tuesday, and I arrived to work with just snow all over my car. Got into Old Meldrum, and you'd think I'd come out of the Arctic. There was no snow in Inverurie and Old Meldrum. But the Glen seems to have a lot of snow, but most of the snow is gone. It's just a lot of flooding.
It's awkward. It's too wet for it to lie here. We've had a couple of bouts of snow. Ian, just nothing that's going to lie, so you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Drive up from Aberdeen Airport to Forres, you'll be fine. And the further north you go, it might get heavier, but I think it's like it says too wet.
Yeah, Elgin. So north of Keith, like Forres up to Elgin, they didn't really get any snow. I'm just looking at Dominic's comment. So Andy Watson, who went viral, I know him. he started up a business vaulting cars years ago in Inch, because I grew up in Inch, and he made this little Facebook video thing. I'm such a nana. Facebook, whatever you call it.
When you call it the Facebook, that's when you're
the
old.
Facebook, the face clute, talking about needing your boa broth or something in the snow. And for some reason, with the world of the internet, I have no idea, he went viral. And I think he was ending up like getting tins of soup sent to him so he could like promote it on Facebook. Insane. And this guy is so broad. Like, how anybody outside of Aberdeenshire could have understood a word he was saying, I don't know. But yeah, this guy from Inch went viral during the snow in inverted commas. Mental. The internet's a strange place.
He went from inch to a few inches.
You are on form.
Who's driving to Forest? Because that's my hometown.
It was Ian,
That's,
wasn't it?
Ian Abernethy. He's a regular on our when we do the viral the virtual tastings. Ian is always keen to join up.
Yeah, Forest. That's where I learned. Well, that's where I poured my first drams when I was 18. I used to work in a pub called the Beastie or the Red Lion, which is still there to this day. And I think honestly, the first time I poured a whiskey for someone, I think I poured their water for them, and I had to duck to miss the punch. It was one of those pubs back in the 90s.
Nice.
When assaulting the bartender was legally allowed.
Fair enough. It wasn't just allowed; it was expected.
Yeah. It was good. Good practice.
So he said he's going up to look at a bit of land. So you better hope it doesn't snow too much, because then a bit of land might be covered in snow.
Couple extra inches with your land, happy days.
It sounds a little bit Polson like. You're gonna like Ian's gonna be the new Polson and start buying up all around about Speyside, like a little Monopoly board. Yeah.
Who's that saying? Remember, Friends Reunited.
Dominic. Yeah.
That website. I remember that from because it was probably before like MySpace or anything else. I think it came I remember it 2000 or 2001, and it was such a shit website. It was just literally like a page where you like struggled to upload photos of your friends, and there was no one had like profile pages or anything like that. It was really bizarre.
I don't remember. The first kind of thing I remember was Bebo.
Yes. Yeah, that was
well,
like the first.
MySpace then Bebo though.
Oh, was it?
I was maybe too. Well, I would have been probably not tech savvy enough for MySpace.
MySpace, yeah, there was a lot of with your page. You could code it so like it had like crazy designs and soundtracks, and then Bebo was kind of like you could pick one of 5 skins to put on, which is like a picture of a shit car or like something like that. Yeah.
It was. I remember MySpace. I was never on it, but I remember Bebo was the first thing I thought, right? Because you could upload videos and your favorite song and things like that. Yeah.
Bebo was the first time because it launched about the same time. YouTube was like 2006, and I think you could post YouTube videos on your page.
Yeah, you could link it. And I remember at my work, there was a young lad, Kieran was his name, and he said, you need to sign up to Facebook. That's the next big thing. Nobody's using Bebo anymore. And everyone laughed at him and said, fuck off. Yeah. Bebo's the bomb. Like, everyone loves Bebo. What's this place? No. And I said that to him. I was like, nah, nobody will use Facebook. Bebo's going to take over.
Yeah, because I remember switching over because I would have been in Edinburgh at the time. I was actually working with Pete Allison and Daz Haldane at Amex Apple in Edinburgh. About 2006, I think that's when Facebook came to Edinburgh, and everyone was like talking about it. A lot of the posh like Edinburgh uni students, I think, were getting onto Facebook, and I think that's kind of how it filtered through because it was very much like an exclusive university campus kind of.
Yeah, that's how it started, wasn't it? It was.
The Social Network's probably one of my favorite films. Actually, it's really good.
Great.
Yeah,
great. Yeah. I haven't watched it enough. Actually, I've only watched it 3 times. 4 times.
That scene with Andrew Garfield where he gets screwed over out of the company. He's absolute genius.
He bombs into the office and has Justin Timberlake by the collar and stuff. Yeah,
Well, no, he's like, because he goes in, he gets called back. I mean, it's a funny one, right? Because obviously he was a shit like business CFO or whatever, chief financial officer, whatever like that. But they did totally fuck him over because he had like 51% of the company. And then they made him sign a contract saying, right, if we get new investors, your shares get diluted down to like 0.1%.
Yeah,
which he never read through because he thought it was like his lawyers giving him the contract. Instead of getting a lawyer to look through the contract, he signed his own death certificate.
that's what. Yeah.
It's but yeah, I think there's a lot of business lessons to learn from watching that film.
What was the company that the Justin Timberlake character owned?
It was Napster.
Napster. Yeah, I was going to say was that not MySpace, but no, it was Napster.
It was Napster because that was the first like Spotify, the first MP3 sharing. So that was the one that's made famous by so Lars Ulrich from Metallica. That's when he had his meltdown and started suing Napster. The drummer from Metallica, he basically took out this massive lawsuit against them. He was probably ahead of his time, to be fair, because Spotify is kind of hated now for doing that exactly thing.
Yeah.
You are on Spotify for your Whiskey Bites, right? I was looking at all the little places you can.
Yeah, I was kind of like, you know what it's like at the moment is like everyone's on different platforms, and you're also kind of going, well, the way things are going with like social media, Meta and stuff, you're not really sure which website's even still going to exist,
Yeah,
or which one you're going to stay affiliated to. So I'll go with 4. I'll go with like Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok, and that's pretty much it. But the algorithms are all totally different. So some, I mean, Instagram's obviously the best performing one because I'm probably on there the most. But yeah, like YouTube's the hardest one. YouTube as a channel. I mean, I've had a channel on there for years doing my average guitar videos, and I've probably got like 70 followers. YouTube's the hardest one to crack, and Instagram's the easiest one.
Instagram's so weird though. Like I can't figure out the algorithm. Like sometimes you'll post something and it's like, what the fuck? How are so many people engaging with this? And other times you'll post something and like there's like not that many. Like I mean I don't think I care enough to really try and figure it out. Do you know what gets the most views or interactions? Is either a face or hands. If people can see a face or hands, I think it's that human connection. Like people,
or a pair of wet pants.
Yeah. That'll get a lot of clicks.
This might be the thing that makes me go
famous.
Okay, right. So you should put a pair of wet pants on the Blether logo and see what happens. You guys are going to go viral.
I mean,
I just
bloomers.
I created that logo just asking Canva to create a wee whiskey logo, like try to hone it in, because every time you type into any AI, it put ice in the glass, and I'm like, don't put ice in the glass, and it came up with ice in the glass. I don't want ice, and I was actually swearing at Canva, saying, "Can you get the fucking ice out of the glass? Because I really don't want ice." So annoying. Eventually, I got this logo, so that's why. So if I then go back and say, "Can you put a pair of wet pants on this?" I've got no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, but it'll just copy and paste of it. Don't even ask it to do it. What to do is just like find a pair of wet pants on Google, or don't.
Don't think we should.
Just copy and paste on the top.
In fact, I'll do it live. I'll do it while we're on TV.
Okay, yeah. Give us a masterclass in logo adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, so when we had Mark Watt on, he was at the beginning in the green room. He's like, "I am going to get you to say something ridiculous because you're well known for it." I'm like, "I am not a performing monkey, Mark Watt. I think you find I'm very highbrow, and we'll be sticking to Whiskey Chat." Within the first 2 minutes,
Mark wasn't even on yet.
I'd said something about an erotic onion. So
stripping layers off like in it was so hot. It was summer's day, and you're like stripping layers off like in the rock.
So Callum, who was on earlier, I'm not sure if he's still watching, within minutes had created this AI image of this little onion with a feather boa, like sort of doing a striptease, put it on a mug and sent it to Mark Watt. I'm like, the power of the internet. Oh, Callum's still on. Yes, you're very good with your little AI creations, Callum. So, yeah.
The whole AI thing's wild, isn't it? It's like it's kind of I think I was thinking a lot about like I think we're all pretty safe with you know, because I've listened to probably too many podcasts about how AI's taken over the world and taking jobs and stuff, and I'm pretty sure in whiskey, especially whiskey production, we're all pretty, you know, and talking about whiskey and hosting people, we're safe. And as a self-employed person, I have used ChatGPT on numerous occasions, especially when building a website. You know, I like doing all the design stuff. When it comes to writing like terms and conditions and privacy policies, I'm like, right, ChatGPT. But yeah, it's like the first jobs to be going or like getting changed in whiskey or marketing and e-commerce and things like that. But this is the thing, like I'm a big fan of analog and old school and like doing things just like by hand. Like I'll be sitting today just editing videos and doing everything apart from like if like I've done a whiskey bite, which takes a couple of days sometimes because you've got to like write. I've got to kind of research. If I come up with an idea for like a whiskey bite, I'll be like, right, I've got to now think about what I'm going to say, research it, make sure I've got my facts right. I'll message people just for a quick quote or just like a fact check, like on Instagram. I like message Phil Thompson yesterday saying, "Is this right about Dornick?" and you know, stuff like that. Yeah. And then actually got to sit down and film it all and then match up the audio, which I've recorded on here, to the video. And then I've got to edit the video, create the captions, which are all done by AI, then go through all the captions and change all the misspellings, which is pretty much the whole thing. May as well write it from scratch and then put on like any graphics and stuff like that. So it takes like days and then you get like 25 views.
Yeah.
It's still relatively new though. Like you've only been doing this for a couple of weeks. So like that's obviously going to build.
But no, I always think it's like, you know, when we like did the Blether last time, we were talking about, you know, if aliens came to Earth, what whiskey would we give them? I think this time it's like, if aliens came to Earth, what podcast would they end up listening to? Are they, you know, in 100 years' time, are the aliens going to be listening to the Blether and whiskey fights going, what the fuck was going on?
If aliens are listening, I still hate you, and you can all just fuck off because
you can leave your wet pants for them.
Yeah, not a fan of aliens at all. Mike, have you managed to create something with wet pants?
I don't know what AI thinks knickers or pants are. I mean, I get it because I put pants and it started putting jeans on the glass.
Underpants.
American AI.
Americanism. And then I put knickers. And I don't know what it's really how to describe what it's given me. It's quite bizarre. I'll share it, yeah.
We should. Do you know what we should have done? We should have turned this into a competition. I would have done more like an analog design, and then you could have done an AI design. We could have shared them on screen at the same time.
Yeah. Right.
Do you know what? I'll do one really quickly. So what's the brief?
There's my wet knickers in a whiskey glass.
Just on the comments for our American viewers, we are talking about pants as in underpants.
Yeah.
Not pants as in trousers. Because I've just seen in the comments people are like, what are you talking about? So
wet pants as in moist, not
sweatpants. So Donna Past Whiskey is asking, is it sweatpants? No, wet as in moist pants. That just made myself feel sick saying that.
So the brief is wet pants on a whiskey glass, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what Canva came up with. But I used the Blethering logo as my base.
Well, I've only got pen and paper, so I might just try and draw.
You can do the.
Ed Friday gets. He's not a moist fan. He doesn't like it moist.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those words that it does give people the ick, doesn't it?
I do think for people joining late that we should explain why we're talking about wet pants. So
I don't even know why we're talking about wet pants.
Spilled some whiskey over her washing, and there was pants in the washing, and it made it wet. And it was a teacher's bottle of whiskey. So there's a whole lot of innuendos that we've come up with, which has been a running joke tonight. So
you say we. I mean,
this is all you.
I don't think it is, to be honest. I would like a steward's inquiry. Well, so apparently my son's drawing skills apparently didn't come from his mother.
What was that?
My son's drawing skills apparently didn't come from his mother, because this is my picture of a whiskey glass with a pair of pants on it.
Let's see. Oh,
there you go.
Right, my mine's pretty much done. How's yours, Mike?
I didn't draw anything. I thought my virtual image was my.
That's your contribution.
That's my contribution. Yeah.
Right. So I'll share mine.
Okay.
Go for it.
The anticipation. No. Oh, I feel slightly nauseous.
That was beyond mine.
I think your algorithm knows you better than we want to know you.
That's not the first time you've typed that in, is it, Fraser?
No, I put in Fraser farmer. I'm dripping.
Dripping.
Yeah, you got to be so careful what you type into the internet. My first year at my work, very naive. As a little tour guide, I was asked by a manager to look up tiebacks for the curtains. And she wanted them to be like leather. So I typed into my work's computer, leather tiebacks. You can guess what came up on screen. I was like, oh my God. I'm going to be on a list. So yeah. All right. Everybody needs to stop saying drippy and dripping. This is all getting so woke.
I mean, if you're going for the Doric phonetic pronunciation, it's dreeping anyway.
Yeah.
I love it how we've got the community are getting involved. Ian has got a reply from AI saying, "I can't create that image."
I can't create that for you.
AI is just giving up. Just can't do it.
Reb, apologies for going off topic. I know you come here for the whiskey chat. I love that you turn up every week. We will get back to whiskey chat, but yeah.
Well, guys, what drams are you guys on now?
I am on the green spot. I just cracked that open.
Last
time we talked a lot about Irish whiskey as well, so that's why I took that out.
Yeah, so I'm on my Teeling Margot cask, and it's like I think it's very stone fruity, so it's kind of that kind of like just loads of almost like some sort of apricot fruitcake kind of vibe. It's very specific stone fruit. It's almost like, when you have whiskey that's been finished in a port cask, it's that kind of stone fruit kind of vibe.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I do have an Irish whiskey on my shelf. I've got Kilbeggan, but I don't know where it is. I'm not getting out to get it. That's the only Irish whiskey I've got. I need to explore Irish whiskey a bit more.
I think I need to do an Irish whiskey map. In fact, I was thinking about doing a big walk across Ireland at some stage and hitting a few distilleries on the way down, as well as trying to find the best pint of Guinness. So yeah, I think in terms of distillery numbers now, Ireland must be in the early 40s. I think
It's,
Only 40. I thought they would have more than that.
it could be up to 50.
It went down dramatically, didn't it? It like collapsed.
Well, Waterford,
yeah, but it came back. I mean, Waterford was
Roe and Co, and then there's been a few that closed down.
Yeah, Waterford was a funny one, wasn't it? It was kind of a flash in the pan. I love the idea behind it. I think the execution was poor.
Well,
I just love the idea of it. I thought they could have done so much with it.
Like the whole concept of terroir and whiskey is such a tenuous, I think, topic anyway. I think that Mark Rainier, from his time at Brewery and obviously seeing like, you know, they obviously work with the local farm up at Octomore for a lot of the Octomore expressions and stuff like that anyway. So I think that kind of that idea was planted in his head to the point where single origin barley whiskey made sense. And yeah, look, we did some side by side taste. I've still got a bottle. I think it's the Ballyclavin in the cupboards. But yeah, I mean, look, good idea. It's a very subtle. You've got to have a pretty spectacular palate to pick out any differences. And at the end of the day, like if they're all finished in different casks, they're going to dominate. So
I think that was the problem for me. That was. I mean, we had Mark on the Blether. I think it was in his BC. It was before Cat. Me and Russell had a chat, and the reason he left Brewery was because he felt the Scotch whiskey was anti-exploratory. He thought he was getting stifled by it, and people weren't open enough to the idea. So he went to Ireland, where they're a little bit looser in the laws. But like you, I thought as soon as you introduce cask influence, your blender has that ability to manipulate the flavors any way that they feel fit. If they want to make it taste different, then all they need to do is blend casks differently. But that negates the whole idea of what they were trying to do. Yeah. If anything, what they should have done was a wee 20 cl or 25 ml bottle of the new make spirit with the bottle from that distillery or something that they could taste, that you could taste the difference in the new make, because that's what it was all about. You know, as soon as you put casks together and cask recipes, it doesn't matter how much information you give people, that's manipulating the spirit. And it just went against everything that they were building towards. So
yeah, I think you've got to. It depends on the size and the scale of the distillery. I think that things like yeast and fermentation obviously play well more into the final outcome. I saw someone was just asking about my favorite Callum favorite. What's my favorite distillery from each region? Okay, this is going to be
Callum. He just wants you to say Glen Scotia. Like he doesn't want you to say anything else.
Okay, well, no, Glen Scotia is my favorite Campbelltown without a doubt. So that's fine. My Isla, probably go with Lagavulin, probably just because that was the first whiskey that got me back on whiskey when I was living in Oz. Speyside, all-time favorite, probably Craig Ellicky. Highlands and Lowlands are slightly tougher. Highlands, I think recently, I'll probably go with Dornick. I like what Phil and Simon are doing. I've tried some, like obviously their whiskey's only about 4 years old, but I think that what they're doing is way more interesting. Lowlands a tougher one. I'll probably have to check my map actually and see what my favorite is from that.
Plug. Everyone look at the map and see what your favorite is.
Yeah, this thing because like sometimes there's like 23. So from the list there straight away, I'd probably say Lowlands is a tough one actually. Do you know what? Because so many of them are new and like so quite a few of them. The distilleries, the whiskey's not even ready yet. Like Porterleaf, I've only tried the new make from there. They don't have anything mature. Rosebank, nothing new yet. That's a really tough one.
I like Daft Mill in the quality because it's very classically lowland in that it's really cereal forward, grassy. It holds that what we expect a lowland to taste like.
But Daft Mill is a Fife region now, doesn't count anymore.
Is it though?
But you're right. If I was to pick, including Fife, actually, well, Daft Mill or my next whiskey, which is definitely a Fife whiskey, which is Kinglassy from Inchdarney.
Oh yeah.
So
they did well at the Whiskey Awards just recently, didn't they?
Yeah, this is the double matured raw, which is matured in, so it's ex-bourbon, but also Amontillado, but not it's the casks are not from Amontillado as in Jerez. It's from Montilla, which is outside of Jerez. So it's actually using PX grapes instead of Palomino.
So it's Amontillado wine rather than Amontillado sherry.
Yeah, exactly. So Fife wise, this and Daft Mill, like Daft Mill is stupidly good. But I don't consider that a lowland anymore because it's now in the Fife region.
I can't decide if I like that bottle or not. See, when I first saw it, it was at Old Aberdeen Whiskey Festival. And I was speaking to the guy that was over from representing Kinglassy. I like the handle and like the lid is like made of like metal or something, isn't it? It's like a
and also what I think you can do with the lid, if you've got ice blocks, because it is super heavy, you can actually use it as an ice press and put it onto your ice block and actually like a stamp. Because it's super heavy. Like
it's really heavy.
Is it heavier than the old RB Ale Sauvage? Because remember that was granite, wasn't it? They used to.
It's definitely heavier than a pair of wet pants.
Oh well, that depends on the wetness of the pants, surely. What kind of pants are we talking about here?
Lead pants.
That's gonna be a new
grubby pants, or because the bloomers are quite.
Also, like what are the waist size? Like we're talking some like 1940s World War bloomers. Saturated.
That could be our new scale because we're raining so much. We just need to know, like, in terms of like how wet are your pants? Like you'll know the level of rain by how wet your pants are. I mean, are we talking mildly moist? Are we talking dripping? Are we talking, stuck to your leg because they're so wet? How wet are your pants? From a meteorological. What's the weather?
You're gonna have for the next Blether, have a wet pants-ometer for like grading whiskey.
I genuinely think we're going to struggle to get another guest on after tonight.
So when I email people to ask them if they appeal on the Blether, I say, watch back some old episodes and you'll get an idea. I'll be like, watch back old episodes, except for Fraser Campbell's one. And you'll get an idea.
Which one, though? The first one or the sequel?
Yeah. Both. Just both.
Stephanie's one or something.
Yes,
I think that's the worst advice you could give anyone is like watching back. Just commit. You're on the Blether and that's it.
Just say aye.
Whatever happens.
There was
that was the old McEwen's expert, wasn't it? Just say aye. Remember that advert that came out? We'll get away with that.
Somebody I was speaking to recently, and they were like, "How do I describe the Blether? Because it's not a podcast." I'm like, I don't think you can describe it. I don't think it's got
a live free for all where we.
Yeah.
We unleash cat on you and hope you survive.
Sorry, world.
just bring like a waterproof jacket, like a fisherman's hat, just to like.
I am going to say I don't think it's me every time that lowers the conversation.
Ian has put up a great comment. I'm just going to put it on the screen here. Every one of this is you.
Right. No. Two out of three. 2 out of 3 is me. The sex dungeon was Diego. Diego referenced the sex dungeon. I'll give you the wet pants and the erotic onion are mine, but I'm not taking ownership of the sex dungeon.
That can be the name of your next album, Kat.
It's my memoirs. The Distillery Cat, Sex Dungeons, Wet Pants, and Erotic Onions.
A how-to guide.
Step by step.
I'm going to get you to write the foreword.
You have to call it the foreplay.
You know what?
Foreword.
It's just going to be 4 words, which is do not read this.
Or just trigger warning.
Yeah, red flag.
This is so wet you will drink it, not read it.
Oh, God.
You're going to be ringing out the pages after this.
Paul has said, we've got some good comments from the guys. We haven't forgotten you're here, guys.
Paul, sorry.
Paul has said, you're dumb, Scott. That's what he said. No, he hasn't, honestly. Edge Darnay are producing some incredible spirit, one to look out for.
Oh.
Ian is
saying...
their
recept's really good.
Yeah. Out of Lady of the Glen, maybe got an Inch Darnay out soon.
Who knows?
Annandale is a possible for the Lowlands. Callum is saying he likes Annandale. You know what? Annandale's a funny one. I really like the spirit, but I think when they launched, they launched wrong. It was very expensive for what they were putting out, and it just put people off. I don't know, but we've had a few single casks from Brave New Spirits recently, from Spirit of Scotland, kind of stuff, and the liquid is good now. But it's that Eden Mill is that kind of once bitten twice shy. They didn't really have that. The liquid was good, but they were putting out non-age, heavily packaged spirit at 120, 130 pound.
Oh, can we talk about the the distillery? Was it on Orkney that had the "Do not drink" warning? Did you guys see that headline?
No, I've missed this.
This was a few months ago. I remember sharing it. Do you know actually?
Yeah. They failed the SEPA test.
Yeah, like I think they're making gin and stuff, but they literally failed like all the health and safety. What was the place called? But it was I shared like a snippet of my stories from wherever it was, a Scotsman. I think it was my most viewed story of all time. It was, I'm trying to remember the name of the place. Toxic Whiskey Pants. What was it called again?
Because they had gin out, didn't they? Kimbland.
That was it, Kimbland, yeah.
Kimbland, yeah. And it got everything pulled in. I mean that's kind of reverse that. That's.
But also, if you look at I remember the one of the images on the website is a bottle saying Kimbland with 19 on it, suggesting that as a distillery which is 2 years old, they've got 19-year-old single malt.
I've missed all of this news. I'm trying to Google it just now, but my internet shockingly isn't great.
While you do that, I need to go to the toilet again. I'll be back.
Jesus. All right. See you soon, Russell. Sorry.
I missed that.
Yeah. That was quite recent. It was then, tail end of last year, last quarter, October, November kind of time. But they were. I don't think genuinely, I don't think they did anything wrong. They just didn't get the processes in place to pass certificates and get that stuff in. So basically, they failed tests and stuff. So everything that they produced had to be recalled or stopped and stuff like that. So, as a PR exercise, it's terrible for them. But it's probably like if you're a kitchen and you get your granny to bake you some scones, and you sell them, and then they realise that Granny's kitchen isn't quite up to spec. Tastes good, but it doesn't follow health and safety. And what I'm reading is that kind of scenario. So they failed it, but the PR and all that for them is pretty poor. So they have
yeah. I mean, in terms of like sort of SEPA, I guess like a lot of the restrictions are like not restrictions, like the sort of criteria are pretty stringent. So
and they're there for a reason. So
100%. I remember I got a letter through the door from SEPA because my ex-husband had parked a agricultural float, like that you put the sheep in, like you put tow behind a truck. He parked it over a rain set, like a monitor, like gauges how much rainfall there is. And we got like a really angry letter from SEPA through the door with like threatening like legal action. So I guess there's a lot of very strict rules governing SEPA, and rightly so, because it's drinking water. So that's fair dues. Your bathroom must be very close to your microphone. Not because we heard you pee. I just mean because you got pee.
I put myself on mute.
Not because we heard you pee.
Oh no,
you
heard it
back.
flushing just now. Yeah.
No, wait, you got back quick. That's fine. He got back very quickly, so I thought, well, he has obviously like not a Weatherspoon's bathroom. You're obviously just
honestly, next time I do this, right, I'm gonna just bring so I don't have to leave the table. Actually, do you know what? I even brought myself a snack in case I ended up dying of starvation.
I don't think we've ever had anybody snacking on the Blether. We've talked about whiskey and crisp pairings and all sorts of food-related things, but we've never actually had somebody...
I mean, no one needs to see anyone eating crisps. I kind of brought it as like a joke, but I was thinking like last time we did 2 hours and 45 minutes. I'm like, if I get hungry, I'm gonna need something on hand just in case.
What was your favorite crisp or food whiskey pairing? Do you have something?
I think like I think when I think about things like whiskey pairings with I always think about things like crisps and snacks, and like for me, nothing beats like if you're having a pint of Guinness and a Lagavulin 16, a bag of scampi fries, like or Craig Elkie. Some like I always think about bar snacks more than like these kind of like fine dining style dishes, because like it's more realistic as well. Because if I'm like hosting people, as you guys would be as well, you're like, okay, if you got some Frazzles, have a Campbelltown Malts Festival 9-year-old on hand.
Yeah. What about you, Kat? What would be your food and whiskey pairing?
So I've been playing around with this a lot because obviously I've just started a new experience at work, which is whiskey and food. But I just love I love a cheese board. Like you get so many different flavored cheeses, textures, strengths. You can have so much fun playing around with cheese and whiskey. Because I know a lot of people do chocolate and stuff, but I only like dark chocolate. Like I'm fussy. I don't like sweet treats. I do like crisps,
cheese is all about the texture as well, like because you're coating your tongue with an impenetrable layer of dairy that needs to be permeated by a cast strength whiskey.
Well, that's true. So cheese is like one of the worst actually for your palate because it literally blocks your whole palate because it's such a high fat content. So you really do need a punchy whiskey to actually get through that because it can be a bit of an inhibitor to the palate. So yeah, it probably doesn't work with every whiskey. But yeah, find a good sort of full-bodied one or sort of cast strength one doesn't work.
I've designed loads of pairing menus in the past. Like if I think about if someone, because quite often if I was hosting someone in the hotel, the restaurant, say like, here's the 6 dish menu, pick out whiskeys for each one. It's not hard Because all you have to say is, right, if the dish is like halibut, I'm going to go with something maybe coastal and light, or even something like Altmore, or something like Glenglassaugh, or something like that.
Something oily or something,
or something, even like West Coast. But you know, it's not hard to pair whiskey and food. It's like, it's kind of common sense in a lot of ways. You're just like, well, if someone's having venison, you're probably going to go with something pretty rich and in a wine cask or a cherry cask. Like, it's not difficult. Or barbecue, something like bourbon and peaty. I mean, it's not hard to do. I think that it just, the simplicity of just going into a pub and saying, right, I'm going to have a Japanese whiskey with a bag of Walker's ready salted.
So sometimes that's the best thing, because that's what you get in a pub. You walk in a pub where like you don't do pairings, but great bar staff will say, you're on a Talisker, have some salt and crisp with that, or salt and nuts with that. It's so good.
Yeah.
Or
probably a mix.
One of the best ones I've had was a whiskey tasting. Finlay, from who's now Balmaud, who was Spey, Alan Finlay, was doing a tasting at the Mash Tun a few years ago, and me and a couple of pals went down. We're on a whiskey pilgrimage, but by the time we got to the Mash Tun, we were well oiled. But the one standout was a stick of celery with Talisker, and wow, it just blew my mind.
That's cool.
Talisker and a Bloody Mary is also very good as well.
But Bloody Mary, I can imagine that, and I think that was his lead, was, do a Bloody Mary, but instead of vodka, use Talisker. But they didn't go that in depth. So it was just like, you could see why with a celery stick and your whiskey, and that is to the point that that's the only pairing of the whole tasting that I remember. Like I said, I was quite drunk at the time, but for that to stand out, the only other moment of that evening I remember was being under the table with George Grant's dog.
I don't even know where to start with that one.
just petting. Just giving it a fuck.
No heavy petting.
Not heavy
just
petting.
Like,
not like the swimming pool signs. No heavy petting. It was.
Like literally just petting sounds like something Prince Andrew would say in the Epstein files. Like you're not
no pants wetting.
You're not fixing this at all, Mike.
Do you remember that though? The signs in the swimming pools where it was like no bombing, no heavy petting.
That wasn't heavy petting. It was just
what kind of dog was
it? I remember. It was a golden lab.
Well, there you go. Moments in whiskey that we'll never forget.
Little moments make it all right. But I think my favourite pairing is dates stuffed with blue cheese and a heavy sherry bomb peated whiskey.
Yeah, classic.
So good.
Or like even some like blue cheese stuffed olives and pickles with like something heavy, briny, peaty from West Coast.
Like a Torrevig or something like that.
Yeah, Torrevig. Good young whiskey, but high on the ppm.
The oiliest whiskies I've had from Torrevig. I think that they've really captured that coastal seaside note so well.
Yeah, it's because their ppm is about 78.4.
Yeah,
it's pretty high.
It's heavy, but they cut quite high as well, so they get the oils without the kind of medicinal notes. It's all about that coastal essence, isn't it? That they bring over. We're getting some great comments on the.
Their 10-year-old will be coming out next year, I think it is.
I can't believe how quick that came around. We had Bruce Perry in the shop doing a tasting, but must be 6-7 years ago now, because the 2017, the first of the Legacy series was launched. And he showed the outline of the plan of the Old Glaroon, what was after that? Alton Lavagna, then the Sound of Sleep. I'm so glad Sound of Sleep came out because everything else was so fucking hard to pronounce. And then they put one in English. It was like, yay, we can say that one. It doesn't sound different every time I say it. Yeah, I thought, wow, 10 years, it sounds so far away. And now,
on the subject of Torvig, have you guys had Claire Vokins on the Blether?
No.
I'll need to introduce you. Claire's a good friend of mine. She's based out in London, and she does a lot of stuff for Torvig, like a lot of the festivals and stuff like that. But she's absolutely awesome. She's got a really good Substack, and she does like a lot of controversial writing and articles about things like Whisky Awards, and she's a very prominent voice in whiskey. You should definitely get her on for the Blether at some stage. You'd have a laugh with her.
Send her details over and I'll track her down. That'd be cool.
Yeah. She was on, I'll send you, she was on a really good podcast with some guys from the States the other day called The Last Call.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I'll send you a link and you can watch that. But yeah, she's awesome. She does a lot of stuff with those guys, with Mossburn.
Always open to new people in the Blether. Send them my way.
Right. We have got Stuart lined up for later in the year.
Nice.
Stuart Bick, who is, and I think he broke your record. I think he's our longest natural Blether excluded special.
Was that the one when it was in-house at the shop? I couldn't make it over and I was at home.
No, the one where he was at home was longer.
The Forecat, BC.
He either broke your record or you broke his. I can't remember.
You need to have a BP as well before pants.
Before pants. I feel like this was the beginning of the end.
Maybe a WP instead.
BWP.
Yeah, it'd be like one of those things, if you know sort of thing. You had to be watching it.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys will still keep this episode up after tonight.
I know. Well, I don't know why, but our live, the DPE, the dry pants era. Cheers, Ian. Thanks for that. I don't know why, but when it says live on StreamYard, it's just been highlighted red. It's got a timer. Is
like
that
a red
happening?
flag.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, oh my God, you're reaching some kind of time.
It's all different now, though, StreamYard. I think it's obviously updated because we've got these two screens now. Because people can either watch it on horizontal, like landscape, or on phone view, which is a little bit disconcerting because I can see myself twice. But yeah,
watch yourself in diagonal mode.
I know it is a bit odd actually. But yeah, it's a brave new world. Everyone's watching their phones. That'll be what it is.
I know that's the most frustrating thing about doing websites is you get everything done in like the landscape version, then you switch to mobile and it's all fucked up.
Yeah,
you spend like half your day fixing everything. It's literally the biggest pain in the arse about web design. Such a nightmare.
Yeah, no, I get that. But just going back on the whiskey topics, what are you looking forward to in 2026? I know you've got your own one for the road, which is pretty cool. But in the grander scheme of things, what are you looking forward to?
I don't know. I think just getting back out on the road and seeing people more. I think the hardest challenge about moving back to Aberdeen was always going to be, because I've been in London for 5 years, and you go out every night of the week and loads of things are happening. But I do think that moving up here, you're kind of far removed from a lot of things comparatively, and I'm just looking forward to getting back out on the road and seeing more people and heading up more. I don't know if it's even more like festivals and stuff. Like I always make an effort every year to go to the big ones. Like I'll always go to the London Whisky Exchange show in October because I can see everyone in one go. And then I'll always try and go to like one of the Scottish ones, like one of the Scottish whiskey festivals, like Aberdeen or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think I'm just looking forward to just seeing a bit more stabilization for everyone. I just want everyone to kind of feel like, okay, things are improving, or like everyone just feels a bit of a sense of certainty. That's all I really kind of want. I'm sure, I mean, you guys are probably the same as well. We all just want to feel like what we're doing is we're all shooting for the same direction, which is to say that we all know that whiskey's going to be fine, but it's a bit like talking about climate change. We know that the planet's going to be fine. It's just about, are people going to be fine? It's the same in whiskey. Like, whiskey's going to be fine, but the whole point of whiskey is for people, and the people who work in the industry, the people who have jobs. I think that there's those of us who have been in it for a long time that are maybe now out on our own, and we're all just trying to figure out how this works, because you work for a brand for a certain number of years, and then you say, right, well, I now want to go and talk about all the whiskeys.
Yeah.
What does that look like? And I think it's just a case of, last year was a tough year for me. I really just kind of went, wow, is this the right year to be going solo? But then everyone's had a shit year. Like hospitality businesses are getting hammered into the ground. Whiskey's having a tough time. So everyone's had a tough year. So all I want this year is just for things to feel easier.
Yeah.
And feel like there's like a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
That's all. That's literally it.
No, I 100% agree, and we were chatting last week about that. Just some kind of normality, just a little bit of. It doesn't even have to be great. It just needs to be constant. It needs to be predictable. Something that we can say, right, let's have a plan for this year that we can rely on would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, like we're all doing this for a reason, which is that, again, we love looking after people. We love, like, the reason you guys, I'm sure, started this was literally introducing people to different people, but also different whiskey. And that's all it is. Like, all we do is connecting people, introducing them to whiskey, but also other people. That's it. It's just like community and whiskey, and people having stability in jobs and knowing what's coming. I mean, we can never know what's coming, but we can just feel like kind of rest assured that we're all doing the right thing.
Yeah, we can hope it's better than the previous hits, because the hits have been terrible. They've been dire. The last 5-10 years, last 5 years in terms of economically, in terms of whiskey, it's been give and take. There's been a lot of good and a lot of bad, but you take the whiskey out of that retail or hospitality, and it's been heavy punches.
Yeah. Oh, someone just let us know we've hit our anniversary marker of 2 hours 45.
And it's a good night from us. Cheerio, guys. Thank you very much for joining.
Cheers. I've got an empty glass, but cheers.
We've got to stay on at least till 2 hours 47, so we can officially break the record.
In case it's a leap year.
Exactly. In case we've skipped an hour by mistake, we have to stay on for 3 hours and 45 minutes. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm confident in, and I think Kat, you mentioned this earlier, that whiskey tourism is still very much a thing. I think people are still coming to Scotland looking for experiences and places to go and things to do regarding distilleries, but also everything else. And like, that's 100% why we've launched One for the Road. Absolutely no doubts it's going to work. I think, I don't know. I want to feel like being back here in Aberdeenshire, because I've moved around the world a lot. I've lived in Australia, I've lived in Spain, I've lived in London. Being back up here now, I just want to feel like a sense of it's going to work. It's going to all come together. That's it. Stability. It's consistency. It's a sense of knowing that, like, right, people are going to flock to Aberdeen in their droves to experience whiskey, because you guys are doing amazing things, like not only with Glengarry and Inverurie Whiskey Shop and the Foghouse, but also just this as well, like making people realize that Aberdeen has a whiskey community and it's got legs, and people should come here and see it and check it out.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm always amazed just how many people are in the industry and how far the industry touches, you know, from like us working actually for a distillery, or like yourself, to like you, Mike, working sort of retail and tourism side of things, and then branching out. You know, there's so many different aspects to that, from people that are shooting content or marketing or coopering, or like even the farmers. Like, it's so far reaching. It's such a vast industry. Like, there's definitely hope there. Like, that's not all going to just fold up overnight, because rich people are being a bit more conscientious about how they spend their money.
Yeah, one of my favourite one of my favourite moments in whiskey was, I haven't seen him online tonight, but Peathead, Frank, a lad from Germany, regular viewer to us, pulled up outside the shop and his motorbike, came in, said hello, and I'm just like, you know, without the Blether, without that, you know, he wouldn't have even thought about dropping into Inverurie, you know, my hometown, and he's made a way. He's made it part of his pilgrimage to come and pass and come in and see us, and probably spent a couple of pounds on a coffee in the town and all that kind of thing. It's like, it's that I love, is that something that we can do for that community will bring people to my town. We can have a chat, but when you say the Blether is, or the industry just really brings people together, it's like that kind of little things just are phenomenal. And just bringing, you know, like I said, bringing people together. Somebody will come out their way. Oh, I know Inverurie now because I've heard of them on YouTube, or I'll go to Glengarry because I'm driving past.
Oh, it's amazing. Like, again, like the caliber of guests you guys have had on here is absolutely phenomenal.
It is. It's good.
And now
they're getting lower as we go on.
Yeah, like today. Well, you've got to start the year somewhere, though. Like, it's things can only go up from here, right? So,
not at all. You definitely were one of my favorite Blethers. You've got such good stories and such amazing like experience in the industry, because it's far-reaching. It's everything from bartending and hospitality right through to, you know, brand ambassador, you know, advocacy, like everything. You know, you're quite a sort of multifaceted player in the whiskey industry, so it's always good to have you on.
Yeah, look, I think I think going back to Mike's question as well, what do I want? Like, I think for everyone else is like stability, but for myself, just I think that things can be done differently. I think that there's a lot of old-fashioned thinking that still exists in the industry, like you know, again, things like regionality. Like we can start evolving now. We can all start saying out loud what we've all been thinking for years, which is like there are different ways we can communicate flavor. There are different ways we can think about regionality. There's different ways we can think about things. We don't have to be stuck in the 80s, because wine regionality kind of poured into whiskey. And I mean, like one guy who taught me a lot how to think about whiskey is Kami Newton, who's like got the sensory advantage. And we did a few events together. We did the last whiskey talks with Ian at Glen Murray and Steph Murray as well. And his knowledge on sensory perception is amazing. And I learned so much from listening to him, just how to think about flavor and perception, and how much we are just how much is ingrained in our brains about, like, when we pick up a whiskey, you know, it's like we're always thinking of nosing first instead of like tasting and then nosing. Like, why do we taste first and then nose? Just little things like that, because we're also just, you know, trained the same way. Like, it's almost like everything's kind of homogenized in whiskey education to a certain extent.
Yeah, there's like
there
color.
are different ways.
color, isn't it? It's that you see the color of a whiskey, or isn't that why a lot of the Isla brands do brown or green bottles, is to hide the color, because it's mostly bourbon cask, so you don't see. You're not influenced by the color before it even gets to your mouth or your lip.
Yeah, I mean, there's elements of that. I think there was stories about, a brown bottle leads to less sunlight spoilage and like this, that, and that, or it looks more premium than a clear glass bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you think about green whiskey bottles, you automatically think of Glenfiddich, Lafroig, and Ardbeg. You think of brown bottles, you think of Lagavulin. It's like, who knows why? But I think, if I look at all the whiskey bottles I've got assembled on my right hand side right now, they're all in clear bottles. They're all, pretty much but they all have their own unique kind of branding, which sets them apart. And that's, I've always loved branding and identity. And I think it's always weird and interesting how you set yourself apart. And, you're talking about Inch Darney Cat, like how, you've got this kind of really sturdy bottle, which has got this massive, heavy clunker of a stopper. And it's a really expensive bottle to produce. And that, the whiskey is expensive as a result. But it still sets you apart from the competition. So.
Yeah.
It does, but I still don't like it. I like the whiskey, but because I'm quite visual, it's I think it's the synesthesia as well. Because everyone always slags me off on the Blether because everyone knows I love a nice bottle, a nice box. But I think it is all linked to the synesthesia. I'm always linking that visual element with the perception of flavour and taste. And the fact that it's this big, angry, black, clunky, like a bell end of a bottle, I really don't like it.
I was really worried about what was going to come out there, and bell end of a bottle.
Yeah, I'm not. Black's such an angry color. I think black's quite an angry color.
Blue is it's an appetite suppressant because let me think about this. So if we think about branding, right? So if we look at reds, for example, or pinks or oranges, they're always an attractive color because historically our brains associate them with natural foods like peppers, oranges, strawberries, carrots. So we think of natural foods, but blue is one of the few colors where we don't associate with any food because there are no blue foods.
I totally get that.
So that's why there are a lot of fast food brands which are red and yellow, i.e. McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, because red is an appetite stimulant, but that's why there are very few fast food brands which are blue, and why all gyms are blues because it's an appetite suppressant.
I've never thought of that before, but I always say to my kids, if they buy sweets or drinks that are blue, I'm there's no natural food that's blue. There's nothing in there that's good for you. And that's exactly it, because other than blueberries, there's no food that's a vibrant blue
cheese has specks of blue, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's about exactly. Blue raspberry, when you buy chewing gum or slushies, it's blue raspberry. Raspberries are not blue.
Well, blue and black were always mold. If you found black on your food, it was mold. So black was always or burnt. So blue was the same as mold or something like that. So it's. I wrote an article years ago about whiskey packaging and how different colors of whiskey packaging suggested different flavors. The blue Bruichladdich bottle was more coastal, and the black of Octomore was more peaty and things like that. So it's colors do play in whiskey a lot.
100%.
Don't really think about it so much.
Yeah. It's something we always preach, isn't it? When you're doing a tasting or you're doing something, you say, don't look at the color because it doesn't really give much away. It maybe give away a little bit of the cask, but it doesn't say age or quality or strength or anything. But we're all liars when we say that, because when we walk into a shop and the first thing we see is, oh, look at the colour of that. You pick up the bottle.
Look at the amber spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't help it. And we do visually, you do it. And, but wine's the same and gin's the same, it's all, gin's a little bit different because the liquid, unless it's Old Tom, I suppose, is all clear. Vodka, so they're reliant on the package and they're reliant on the colours of the bottle, the label and whatnot. Whereas whiskey it should be the same in hindsight, but people look at that rather than that,
Yeah, but
a combination of both.
But think about this, right? Back in the mid 1800s, it was all about the name on the bottle and had nothing to do with the color of the liquid. Like if you were Johnny Walker, John Dewar, Buchanan, Chivas, Ballantyne's, it was all about the name on the bottle. It was nothing to do with the color of the liquid. So how the perception of whiskey has gone over time has evolved a lot.
Yeah. He just put in the comments there, he really enjoys when an extremely light coloured whiskey has a really strong flavour. That is rare, but it absolutely happens. When I think I've told this story before, is just before lockdown, me and Ewan from Robertson's up at Lochray and Michael Handratty, who had the Dornoch whiskey cellars, we're going to launch a wee whiskey project. COVID came and we all kind of focused on our own shops at the time, and probably in hindsight, it was the perfect time to launch because everyone else kind of did something. But we were going to launch our own kind of Pictish whiskey brand. And the whiskey we chose had a bit of colour to it. If I remember right, it was a Glenmurray 10-year-old. But the whiskey that we wanted was a Mortlach. But it was so pale. The flavour was incredible. It was such a good whiskey. But as a new launch, as a new brand, we took a marketing decision to say nobody knows us, nobody kind of realises who we are. Looking at the bottle, would you buy it? Because it was so pale. The flavour was incredible. There's so much in there. It was like, well, if we were a Gordon MacPhail, a Douglas Lang or something, we'd get away with it. But as a first whiskey, we that was in your mind when you think
funny.
What's that perception?
So when I went down to the launch of this in May last year, so they've got this one. They've got 2 8-year-olds, which they launched as their first single malts at King in Starney. So they've got this one, but there's also the other 8-year-old, which is an opaque black bottle, which is an 8-year-old just in ex-bourbon casks. And when they poured it out for us, when Ian Palmer was doing it and Scott at the distillery, the whiskey was almost like new make spirit. It was so clear.
Yeah.
Even though both the whiskeys were 8 years old, I actually got one of the glasses and was like, is this water? It's like, there's no color, literally no color. And then I tried it and I was like, fuck, literally to, who just said that with the color and the flavor?
Ian Abernethy.
Yeah, so it was the same thing. It was literally the flavors, all in the nose, it's all in the palate, but the color, there was almost nothing. But it does trick with you. I think in a lot of ways, if you took like a 50-year-old Balvenie or 50-year-old Macallan, whatever, and clarified it and made it so it was the same liquid but clear, it would totally fuck with your perception of what that whiskey is based on the color alone. Like 100%, because we do this association with color and flavor that is so subconscious to us and so primal that we don't realize we're doing it. So if you added that to liquid, you've got a clear liquid with the smell of a 50-year-old whiskey. It's not going to be the same liquid when you taste it.
Yeah. 100%.
I think I'm the opposite. If I see a dark whiskey, I try and avoid it because I don't really like a strong sherry maturation. But the amount of times I've been surprised trying it, I've been like, I've judged that, thinking, it's dark, I'm not going to like it. And then you try it, like, well, actually, no, it's actually just nice balance, fruity.
I don't think it's the opposite. I think it's the same perception. It's just your opinion of it is different.
Yeah, same perception, but most people choose the darker one over the lighter one, whereas I would lighter
The
over
amount of
dark.
people think darker is older or better.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and you must find that with your tours, Fraser. Is people coming over and think I'll try that because it's dark and that must be older, that must be better.
Yeah, but that's a trait which we've kind of, or people have learned over time. Older is better. Which, when it comes to people, obviously it is, no doubt about it. With whiskey, that's a totally different story. I mean, like for the most part now, a lot of the time I'm looking, like when I'm buying whiskeys for tastings, I'm looking at the younger stuff like Thompson Brothers, SRV, TB, BSW. I'm looking at Glen Murray's. I'm looking at non-age statement stuff because it's sometimes more interesting.
Yeah. It's 100% better. Isn't a quality thing. Better is what piques your interest. When we're talking to the guys at home in our wee community here, what is better? Is better flavor wise? Is it because it's more complex? Is it interest? Does it pique different flavor? Yeah, it's not always that tastes really good. I'm going to scull a bottle of that in a couple of sittings. It's more, can I sit down? If I have one dram of this whiskey, that's better to me than having a skinful of another whiskey.
Yeah,
better's not quantifiable at all.
No, but it depends on the distillery. I think there's a lot of younger single malts which have come out which need a few extra years. They're too green, they're too young, they're probably not. They've not mellowed enough. They're the rambunctious teenager, or they just don't have them. They don't have the. It's like some of the young. I would say I don't want to pick on Lowlands, but Lochley is probably an example of that. Probably needs a few extra years in some ways. Great spirit, but does need more time. Whereas you could, like I think some of the Herricks from Al Harris, like the first one I tried, the first release, which was American Oak, was too green. Then they did the Oloroso, which is much nicer, probably just because the sherry cask gave it a bit more depth.
100%. I think I'm a wee bit opposite. I quite like, especially the new range of Lochley. The cask strength I think is really good, and then the is it Orchard Oak? I think they called it. It's a really nice one. Lindor's for me is something that's maybe a bit too young. Needs to, but that's personal.
But then I tried 4-year-old Dornick, which is fucking amazing. So like, it really does depend on the distillery, like what they're doing with everything.
It's I mean, we have smashed 3 hours tonight, Fraser.
I mean, we've definitely beaten the previous record by at least 17 minutes.
We have. Yeah. My kids have literally just messaged me from upstairs. Are you still on your live chat? I'm like, yes, I am.
when our guests are joining us, surprised that we're still on.
I'm going to take a screen.
We're still live. Fraser's like, what time is it?
I've just taken a screenshot saying 3 minutes, 3 hours, 4 minutes. But no, if you guys need to get going, honestly, I'm happy to call it if you guys need to.
You are reigning champion. We're going to get T-shirts made of your face with a little crown on.
Click my face.
Your wet pants. I'm honestly, if Callum Renton doesn't make a mug with you in a pair of wet pants, then I'm making that mug. Like,
I think he's already got one on the way. He commented ages ago he's going to send his. I think it's personalized with his own wet pants.
So for everyone who hasn't looked up Fraser's website, you can send your wet pants to him directly.
Just FYI, if you send your wet pants to me, they're probably going to freeze.
Yeah, well, that's true. Definitely.
Just preserves them long.
I know. That is.
Kat, who's on next week? Give us a.
Well, so she's had a mention a few times tonight. It's my pal Vicky, who is the creator of Sip Seekers, and
amazing!
Yeah,
Vicky's awesome.
She is lovely. So it's such a clever girl. She was, I can't remember what her exact job title was with Memory David, like some sort of marketing brand ambassadorial type role.
International ambassador, wasn't it?
Sales, I think international sales manager or something like that. Yeah,
that's what it was. Fluent in Mandarin. Like, this girl is I love her so much. She is the cleverest little cookie in the business. I'm really excited for her new project, which she's completely done by herself. Like, she's just set out on her own and started this by herself. Got some investors, just started working the sort of putting in the sort of miles and knocking the doors. And set this all up by herself. So I'm so excited to get her on and promote her.
No, and honestly, I love the concept and the idea as well. It's such a good thing because, like, it is, like, again, like, people just having a quick search of what are the available packages and tour options for each distillery is just like having a one-stop shop for that makes absolute sense.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's one of those things when you look at it, somebody does it, you're like,
yeah, why do we not have this?
Why has it not been done before? And if it has been done before, it's maybe been done but not advertised and stuff. And it's just like,
and but she's still. I mean, I remember chatting to Vicky when she first had the idea, and it was literally like early doors, and I was like, that's genius. Like, so such a good idea.
Yeah, so it's gonna be awesome. Get her on next week, and she can tell us all about it. So yeah, that's who we've got.
Awesome. Well,
Fraser, it's been so much fun. Please stick around after, because we want to do an after chat with you as well.
For the director's cut.
Director's cut. I'll record it on the side. Do you know what? I really wish we'd record the after chat because some of the stuff that comes out is phenomenal.
The debriefs.
Okay, right. Your pants double entendres are pretty on point tonight.
Guys, thank you so much for sticking with us for 3 hours. It's been absolute. I'm going to try and rein these two guys in. Say good night to you. I'm going to do a Russell nip to the toilet, but I'll come back. We will see you all again very, very soon. Cheers. Good night.
Cheers, guys. Night,